Wow, it actually freaking happened. How about those Patriots, man? How about New England? They are for real.
Purdy out of the shotgun, drops a couple of steps, going to take a deep shot to Brandon Ayuk. It's deflected and caught.
Cousins, first read taken away. Left side, he throws. Wide open pitch.
From being able to make a play on that football.
That's where some were so good last year. The red zone.
Nix evades the run. Nix the fake. Another fake, and he spins into the end zone.
They're going to get a free play. Rodgers is the master at it, and a touchdown by Lazard. Jones on the fake. Pressure coming, and he's sacked by Parsons.
God, corner.
Open man Hudson.
The throw caught. Hudson lost the ball. Looked like a touchdown. Instead, it's a turnover.
On the pocket. Cuts away from Chenal, who's trying to get after him for a second time, but the ball is thrown to the end zone, and it's caught! On it to McCaffrey, right up the middle, and a stiff arm, McCaffrey for 6.
Don't you just love the NFL? Don't you just love football? I mean, what a weekend of football that we had here, both in the college world as well as the NFL world. I mean, yesterday you had one of the biggest upsets of all time with Penn State, who was a national title favorite coming into the season, who was ranked number 7th number 9th in the country. They go into UCLA, into Los Angeles, go into the Rose Bowl, and they lose stunningly to a winless UCLA team who would fire their head coach, who would fire their offensive coordinator midweek, and somehow, some way, that UCLA team who was in massive shambles ultimately ends up pulling it off. And then you had Florida at the Swamp, this Gators team that's been floundering all year long, and they somehow, some way knock off Texas. And then today you had the Philadelphia Eagles against the Denver Broncos. The Philadelphia Eagles held a 17-3 lead for majority of the game. They seemed like they had this game in a stranglehold, and the Eagles give it up, lose to the Broncos. They lose late. And then how about tonight? I mean, I think I was one of the very few people that had the Patriots winning this game. I texted my guy Ben Cruz off the air. I said, look, I think the Patriots can win this game. I think that this could be an upset. You're talking about division game. It's in Buffalo. I know that. But look, I believe in this Patriots team. I really freaking believe in this New England Patriots team. And man, oh man, do they get it done. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Extra Point. My name is Isaiah Leong. Hope all of you guys are doing well tonight. Hope all of you guys enjoyed a great football Sunday that we had, a great football weekend in general. You guys like what you're watching, go ahead and like our video, share our video everywhere, as well as give our page a like. You can follow us at the MI6 Sports Network as well as the IM6 Network on all your social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat as well. You can give us a follow on that front as well. We have a like. Thank you, Jonathan Mathis. Appreciate it, my man. Hope you are doing well, my guy. But yeah, what a football Sunday here in the NFL. We're here to talk about it. Go ahead, guys. Any comments, questions, concerns that you may have had? You want to get some stuff off your chest? Now here's the time to do it. Put it in our comment section, and I can read it live live on the air for you guys. But let's start with Sunday Night Football. The New England Patriots go into Buffalo, and they do something that not a lot of teams do. They go into Buffalo, and they beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen by a final score on a Borregales game-winning field goal. The New England Patriots, who have been kind of, stuck in the mud a little bit coming into this game, they come out with the win, 23-20 over the Buffalo Bills at Orchard Park. And let me just say this, guys. I'm going to make this a very loud and pointed statement. The New England Patriots tonight sent a loud and clear message to the entire football world that they are for real, that they are coming as well. This was a litmus test for the New England Patriots because you talk about who the Patriots had beaten coming into this game, right? They had lost to the Raiders, and that loss is looking really, really ugly right now. We'll talk about the Raiders in a little bit. But that loss was very, very ugly. But they bounced back. The New England Patriots, they beat the Carolina Panthers, who, they've been okay. They beat the Miami Dolphins, which the Dolphins, they're in big trouble right now, but they lost to the Steelers. So they were 2-2. They were kind of in a little bit of in the middle, not bad, but not great. And coming into the season, the Patriots were one of the teams that a lot of people, including myself, had as like a Cinderella team to make the postseason. They were favorites for a lot of people. And the way these started against the Raiders just wasn't great. It was like, oh crap, here's another bad Patriots team again. But you see the improvement of this team week in and week out. And, I was very iffy on Drake May coming into this season. I thought he was a really good athlete. I thought he was a really good runner. But I thought that he wasn't that great of a passer. And for me to have success in the NFL, to be able to be a franchise quarterback, you have to be able to throw the football. You have to be able to make great plays throwing the football. And so I was very iffy on Drake May. He had all the tools, but he hadn't put it all together yet. And I know it's a second year, but I was like, I'm not going to crown him like a lot of people have right now. But Drake May, I was sold on Drake May tonight. I became a believer of Drake May tonight with his performance. Drake May tonight proved that he is, for real, the franchise quarterback of the New England Patriots. Look at this throw. I want to show you guys this throw that he made prior to the 2-minute warning. This was, I think, the biggest play of the game.
Right at him, he gets rid of it, and it's caught. What a play to Diggs for the first down across the 40-yard line. Drake May, what a play. Wow.
That play right there. The Bills and the Patriots were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That play right there was a miraculous play. It was a crazy play. I was just mind blown. I was like, how did Drake May manage to get that play off? Like, if you look at it, his knee was like an inch or two away from hitting the turf, and he was getting dragged to the turf. He was trying to hold on. He was getting dragged to the turf by the Bills defensive end, and he somehow, some way, not only is he able to get the ball off, he's able to find Stephon Diggs miraculously. Like, how do you do that? That was like a Mahomes-like play. That was like a play that his counterpart on the other side, Josh Allen, makes on a consistent basis. Like, some of these, like that play right there, was indicative of what Drake May was doing all night long. He was making crazy play after crazy play after crazy play tonight. I mean, the throw where he rolls to his right, as he's being chased by a defender and throws it down the field, puts it in perfect spot for Stephon Diggs to make the play. I was like, damn, bro, like that is franchise quarterback material. I became a believer of Drake May. Any doubt that I had about Drake May being the Patriots franchise quarterback, it was all a race tonight. He is the franchise quarterback of the Patriots. And how about Christian Gonzalez, man? I got to give him a lot of props. Like the final 2 plays that he made of that Bills drive late in the game. I mean, that dude saved the game right there, because if the Bills convert either that second down or the third down and get the first down, well, guess what? The Bills will probably score a touchdown, and then the game is over right then and there. But yeah, this was a great win for the Patriots. You know, I'm so happy. I see my guy right there, Ben Cruz. We'll have him talk about his Patriots in a bit, because I know he's probably super hyped up right now. But yeah, this was a massive win for the Patriots. It's a franchise changing win for the Patriots, because not only did you win the game, your first time being on Sunday Night Football in quite some time, you show the world and you go into Buffalo, which is one of the hardest places to play, in a whiteout, with the Bills flashing their flashy white uniforms and all that stuff, the fans wearing the white shirts and everything like that, and you go in there and knock off the Buffalo Bills. This is a franchise-changing win for the Bills, for the Patriots, because you win this game now, and you got all that confidence flowing, you got all the belief in the world now, and now you look at the Patriots schedule. I'm looking at the Patriots schedule right now. Coming up, the New England Patriots have 3 games against the Saints, the Titans, and the Browns. Like, I know the NFL is a crapshoot, but look, those 3 teams, they suck. Like, you got to beat those 3 teams. Like, that's potentially, like, you potentially could go 6-2 right there. Then you got a Falcons team that is kind of like iffy. They're not really the best, but they're not like bad, but they're okay. They got a lot of question marks. Then you got the Bucks, which is going to be tough. But then after that, you got the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants, before you go play Buffalo again. Like, this team, forget the division. Forget the wild card, Ben. I think, like, you could see the Patriots now giving the Bills a run for the money for the division. So I'm very hyped up. I know you are very hyped up. Congratulations, Ben, to your Patriots. What a win for you guys, man. Ben, welcome to the show. Your first extra point of 2025. How are you doing, my friend? And yeah, give us your thoughts on the Patriots game.
Man, that was incredible. That felt like a win. One of the best wins post Brady era, honestly. I mean, there obviously has been a couple that I've been happy about, but this one kind of felt different. I had to fully believe. I think a lot of full belief from this Patriots team that they would make some strides this year. Obviously, getting Vrabel and the culture, and obviously, I was a massive believer in Drake May from the start. I just knew he had all the tools and stuff. But one of the biggest things, and one of the knocks on Drake May in college, was, can he lead the team down when it mattered most? That was one thing about Drake May, that he had all the tools in the world. He'd make all the great throws. He'd run the ball. But he never had that statement in terms of, like, showing to the league of, wow, okay, this guy, we knew he was good, but, man, he could get into, like, superstar good maybe in a couple of years from now. And this is not me just saying I'm a full biased Patriot fan. You just see it, the actual stuff here, right? I know obviously the comp to people is Josh Allen with Drake. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself, before somebody comes after me. But he has a lot of very similar tools to what a guy like Josh Allen can do, I will say. The moxie, he's our future, man. He really is. And to have the first win there in the last, I don't know what, 15 games, and that was quite something. I think I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to win. I expected to compete. But we did get a couple turnovers, which I thought was going to be big in this game if we want to pull this off. And we were fortunate enough to get a big field goal stop from Buffalo, as obviously they were driving for the game-winning field goal. Christian Gonzalez, man, such a big difference maker to get him back on that field. Him missing, obviously, the first couple games was a big part in our secondary, and he came up massive like he usually does. And the defense, I know Isaiah obviously gave up 20 points, but I thought that the defense gave its all. They obviously they gave up some big plays. Of course, there's Buffalo. Their offense is very, very good. But when they had to make a play, they had to make a play. And this was This was a fun one. Win or lose, honestly, but it makes it even better and sweeter to have a win that you didn't expect to, and like you talked about with the schedule coming up. Like that's where I'm like, okay, like even if they lost tonight, they're 2-3. You played them tough. It's like okay, you can. It's what it is. But now it's like you just went into a AFC contended team with an MVP candidate type quarterback. Your quarterback went toe to toe with him and had a game winning drive. I mean, you couldn't script it any better for Drake May. And I'm gonna enjoy this. I mean, like you mentioned, it's definitely week by week league. Saints, you got Titans, the Browns, Titans and the Saints and the Browns. I mean, they're not great teams, but like you gotta go and play. Two of the games are on the road too, so they will be tough. But I do think that this was obviously really our biggest first challenge so far the whole entire season, and we got the job done. So it could be a really like fun season, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but we might be back, Isaiah. We might be back.
Yeah, man, you guys deserve it because after all the crap that you've dealt with the last few years, the end of the Belichick era and then all the other like stuff last year with Gerard Mayo, man, like, I mean, I feel great for you guys that you guys won that game. I know, like, for the Patriots, I think we forgot to mention this as well. How about Stephon Diggs? Like, Stephon Diggs returning to Buffalo. Like, Stephon Diggs is the type of player that he plays with an edge. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. And, if you piss him off, he's going to hold that against you for the rest of time. And boy, did he did. I mean, Stephon Diggs was outstanding tonight. 10 catches, 146 yards. I mean, that last one, or the one where he didn't score the touchdown that led to the Ramondre Stevenson touchdown, but that catch over there, the one also where the Ben, I don't know if you heard me saying this earlier, but that play where Drake May is about to get dragged down for a sack prior to the 2-minute warning, where he somehow, some way makes a Mahomes-like throw. Like when he's getting dragged down, I was like, how do you do that? But Stephon Diggs making that catch as well, going down low to grab it, that was huge. I mean, wow. Like the Buffalo Bills, to be honest, they should not have let him go. I don't know why the Texans let him go. Like the Texans are obviously reeling. I know they won today, but they beat up the Ravens, who are just, massively injury riddled right now. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, like, I mean, that's another guy that I thought that, like, coming into the season, I was like, I don't know if he, like, how much does he have left for the Patriots? Because, like, with receivers, like, those, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. I was, I mean, obviously, sorry to cut you off, but, like, with Diggs, I was just hoping, I'm thinking to myself, we haven't a number one receiver in I don't know how long, for a while. I'm like, it can't be worse than what we've had. Yeah, I mean, this was his coming up, party if there was one. And I know that obviously he was playing beforehand, but like if you can get like even like it's like not even like that Diggs, but like even like a little bit less than that, I mean, this team is going to be cooking. It's going to be cooking because your tight end Henry and Hooper, like they're already pretty good security blankets for Drake. You got a really good pass catching back in Trevion Henderson. It sucks about if there was one like thing that sucked about is Antonio Gibson went down. Hopefully he's okay. But like, I mean, this team, man, I mean, they had so many, I mean, obviously the Drake throw, I mean, to Diggs, I turned to my brother and I say, wait, what just happened? Like, yeah, just, to go toe to toe with a guy like Josh Allen, that's crazy. And to win like that against him, that doesn't happen often. And so I'm going to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it.
Yeah, you definitely should. And yeah, I mean, speaking on the Bills side, I mean, the Bills didn't play bad. I mean, it was like the Bills, like, yeah, they committed a lot of penalties, but Josh Allen, made some really good plays at the end of the game, like he always does. The Bills defense, I thought, held up for the most part of this game. But I mean, I think like the final assessment or conclusion about this game is the Patriots were it was just the Patriots. Like the Bills didn't play bad. The Patriots just went in there and took it from them. And I'm really impressed from you guys. And I think that you look moving forward, May is going to be this is going to be huge confidence boost for him. Diggs, the offense, McDaniels is play calling. I know some people were questioning him week 1. Yeah, but he silenced it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said good for Josh. I mean, to me, right. I was like, oh, Josh is gonna, ruin somebody else. And after that, obviously that first week where it was kind of like, I don't know. And then we obviously won the second game, and then the third. I mean, theoretically, Isaiah, I mean, I hate to play devil's advocate, but the 2 losses we should have won, which is the crazy part. The Steeler game, we fumbled the ball 4 or 5 times. And then the first game, it was just kind of like one of those, what type of game. But I predicted the Patriots to win about 8 games this year. I was kind of this. I don't know. I could definitely see them going 10-7. I could definitely see that happen if things kind of turn right. They could definitely. I mean, with the way the AFC is going around. I mean, look at Baltimore, right? And Baltimore obviously is kind of reeling. I mean, it sucks because I picked Baltimore actually to go deep this year. But the obviously the injury of Lamar, he's gonna be out next week apparently, and then obviously they're losing a lot defensively. And the Steelers have been kind of an interesting team, but you kind of know what you're gonna get from them down the road. I obviously know that they beat us, but they didn't even play great. We just beat ourselves constantly. The Bills obviously are going to be fine. Regardless, obviously it was a big win tonight, but obviously they have a very good team. Chiefs seem like they're starting to cook a little bit. They're getting some pieces back, but outside of the Chiefs and the Bills, right? And maybe if Lamar comes back and they could start turning around with the Ravens, I don't know. They might be honestly a wild card team by the end of it if they start to come back. The Patriots, the AFC is kind of wide open. It kind of is. It kind of reminds me of in baseball this year, right? Where there's just kind of a lot of teams that are kind of on the outside. But the Chargers now have lost 2 games in a row. They were looking like they were going to be a team, and they still could be a really good team. It just seems like the AFC is going to be so wide open. So I think that's why it's so big, for the next couple of weeks, for the Patriots to take advantage of this potential big opening here in the schedule. And like you said, I don't think they're going to win the division, but never say never. I think we're going to shock some people. I've been a big believer in that, especially with the coaching staff that we have. And tonight was kind of a precluder of oh shit, the Patriots, they might be back. You just don't go into Buffalo and just, win fluky that way. They win. They won specifically because Drake was incredible. Josh wasn't even bad. He was really, really good himself. The pick that he threw was an incredible interception by Marcus Jones. He basically just went in front and just stole the ball away. Yeah, it was awesome to see. I can keep going on and on. And this was one of the best wins that I've seen in a long time with this team. So
yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's go to the rest of the Sunday slate because we had a lot of great games all across the board on Sunday. I guess, Ben, we should start overseas where the Dillon Gabriel era opened up in Cleveland, and the Browns moving to another quarterback. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the season, we'll have Shador for a couple of games, and then Bailey Zappi will start a couple of games as well. But yeah, the Vikings beat the Browns 21-17. I mean, this was a pretty darn good game. The Browns actually had the lead 10-7 going into the half. Ben, I guess my reaction to it was, I mean, the Vikings, the problem with the Vikings is they have a winning record. They're 3-2 right now. But if you look at the team that they've beaten a bunch of teams that are just playing backup quarterbacks. So when they've played teams that they've had their real starters in, they have not looked good. They played against the Falcons, they did not look good. They played against the Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. They lost that game. I thought the Vikings were okay. I thought the defense kept them in the game. The offense with Carson Wentz was okay. But I think the big story here was, a lot of people thought Dillon Gabriel, why did you draft him in the 4th round or the 3rd round? Why did you do that? He wasn't even supposed to be a 6th round pick. but I thought he played pretty good. I liked his pocket awareness. I like him running around, making plays out there. Do I think Cleveland have found their quarterback? I don't know, but it was great to see him just, being out there playing. I thought he did a good job managing the game for the Browns. But what was your thoughts on this Browns or this Vikings 21-17 win over the Browns overseas?
So I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch most of it because I was at work, but like I did hear, like just see some of the highlights, and it looked like you mentioned, Dillon Gabriel had some big time throws. I do think that the Browns, I don't think they're gonna be great, but I think that they can shock some people if you don't play them like at their best. Like if you don't play yourself like at your best. Their defense, I think, is pretty solid. Their front is. I think that, Gabriel obviously showed some poise today. The Vikings also, I feel like, are very fragile at their secondary. I still don't think it's great. So maybe it could be, a reason to that. But, like, aside. Carson Wentz is, I think, for the Vikings, I mean, I don't even think he's been playing that bad. I know that obviously Jordan Addison missed the first quarter due to disciplinary actions. Apparently he missed practice throughout the week. So that was kind of interesting. The Browns have been able to now win a couple games here recently. 2 really close games, so I think that's really good for like that overall program. And we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to see who we play quarterback wise for Cleveland when they come to New England in a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, I think the Niners actually go to Cleveland for a game after Thanksgiving, and I think my guy Ryan Schreiner is going to that game. Poor guy, he's a Browns fan, so what's funny, Ben, is like there's 2 quarterbacks that Ryan does not like: Brock Purdy and Bailey Zappi, and both of those 2 guys might be the starting quarterback in that game that he goes to. So Ryan, good luck if that's the case. Perfect. We got the Raider guy, James Gonzalez, in here. What's up, James? How are you doing tonight?
No. No.
Not doing good?
No. Not football-wise.
Well, since you're here, I mean, let's get into your Raiders, because
Let's not. No.
I don't think you wanted to say it, and then you're like, let's get into the Raiders.
Let's not. Let's
All right,
say
fine.
we did, but don't. What do you need to know? They lost 40-6.
Get whatever you need off your chest about them. They lost 40-6 to the.
Geno Smith leads the league in interceptions.
Oh, man.
Pete Carroll looks like all the joy that he ever had in his life has been sucked out of him. And 1 year or 5 weeks with the Raiders will do that, because you actually have to play games now. It's not the preseason anymore. It's not training camp anymore. It's reality, and it sucks. If you lose to the Titans, I think next week or the week. Oh yeah, next week the Titans come to Vegas. If you lose to them, man, I'm. I always say this every year. Like, I stopped watching for a while, but this would be the earliest I would stop watching. Thank God for Red Zone. Man, I had so much fun today watching Red Zone. Ooh. Now, the Colts, they're definitely the better team. Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, just doing so well. It just showed you, though, you could do anything to the Raiders. You could do any trick play you want, any formation, any personnel. If you want to line up 3 tight ends on one side, you could do that. You can have the quarterback go out for a pass. Whatever you want to do, you could do it. Experimentation time is always there against the Raiders. The defense can't, stop anybody. The receivers can't catch a cold. Jainty got hurt and he got off the field. And then Geno Smith, what it comes down to, throwing the 2 picks. Well, at least he didn't throw 3 today. Man, this dude, I know one was a tip pick, but it just shows you where it was going. It had rovers around the ball. It got so bad. The punter got hurt, I believe. AJ Cole. He was carted off, so that tells you what you need to know there. The Raiders need a new punter. That's the MVP position for the Raiders, and you'll get your work in being a punter with the Raiders because you'll be there after every 3 and out. So if you love yardage punting wise, you'll love being a Raider punter, and it's indoors for some home games, for all home games too. So you can work on your punting if somebody needs to. The backup is Kenny Pickett, and there's a lot of calls for him to come out and play, but no, I wish it was another. Well, Aiden O'Connell's there, but he's not really an NFL quarterback. He's a game manager. You put him in there not to lose the game. Kenny Pickett was known to be kind of a gunslinger, but also have accuracy issues. What else? I don't know what to do, honestly. They're that bad. And to give up 40 points to the Colts, that was elementary today. You had a lot of Raider fans walking out that made that whole trip from either California and Nevada and spend all that money every season to go on the road. Could you imagine doing that? Going on the road and watching this crap? No. I don't know what else. They're 1-4. The Titans, with all the Nashville people, will come and enjoy Vegas for a week and then have a game on Sunday. JT will be banged up, and he's been kind of the lone bright star for the Raiders this year. Jacoby Myers would probably ask for a trade after he's not getting the ball. But Geno Smith has just been awful. He's gone back to his Jets days. There was a time where he was completing passes, but you take the good with the bad. But then there's ugly, and that's Geno Smith. It was all around a horrific effort by the Raiders today, and more to come.
Well, James, let me ask you, because I know a lot of Raider fans are saying this on Twitter. If this season goes as bad as it's trending right now, is Pete Carroll one and done?
I'm trying to remember. Did he sign a 3-year deal with the Raiders? I think he. I should know that, but I feel like it was going to be one and done anyway. So I didn't even pay attention to how many years. Yeah, it was a 3-year deal, but I didn't even pay attention to it just because, I don't think it matters. He won't last after one, so I really feel that way. Like I said, all the joy is going to get, all the success that he had in Seattle, they thought that was going to translate to with the Raiders, and they brought some pieces there for the Raiders too. And it's not the same team. It's not the same atmosphere. It's not the same home field advantage. It's nothing like Seattle. It's just a bunch of names, like either great value names or big brand names like Chip Kelly, Tom Brady, but you're just getting a Dollar Tree product out of the Raiders right now on the field, and it's awful.
And sadly, I think Patrick Graham is probably going to get, if they give up, because
I was thinking about that today too, but they don't have like, other from Max Crosby, you don't have like another standout defensive player. You have Devin White, who just signed whatever deal with the Raiders from Tampa Bay. And he really hasn't done anything. He's showing his age, trying to, chase people. It's supposed to be Christian Wilkins, but he couldn't lay his hands off people in training camp. So it's just Max Crosby. It's like Max Crosby and the rest of the Jackson 5 or whatever. It's like, it's like LeBron. Well, no, I don't even want to say it because it would go at LeBron. But it's like, remember LeBron, his first finals, where it was like him, and then like the other 4 starters that were ass. That's how it feels like with the Raider defense right now. It's just he's the lead singer, and everybody else is behind the curtain right now. And I mean, they're getting good deflections at the line, but they can't stop a run. They can't really defend any passes. I knew the secondary was going to be the issue this year, without certain players not there anymore, like Nate Hobbs. He's elsewhere. Meek Robinson is elsewhere with Detroit, and he's doing very well. All the pieces that were there a couple years ago, pretty much all gone or injured.
Right.
Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Max Crosby actually asked for a trade. I really want it. I know he mentioned in podcast last year the only place he would go was back home to the Lions in Detroit. But honestly, he could go anywhere. Probably the Raiders screw up that deal too. But I think they had an extension with him too, like a couple years ago as well. So
Yeah.
you have to figure the money into that situation as well. With the ever changing salary cap, going up in the NFL, you just never know how it's gonna be. But I think normally, if he didn't have that Raiders tattoo, he would have been gone by now. But he's gonna have to get that tattoo removed, of the Raider logo, I think, on his shoulder. That's how bad it is. Vegas has a lot of tattoo parlors, but they also have a lot of tattoo removers. And I think Max Crosby might need some wherever they go.
And well, James, I feel bad for you because your franchise just gave Geno Smith a guaranteed 3-year big contract extension, so he's not going anywhere. Sadly, like with him.
Well,
so
they could just cut
I think
him and then just take
yeah,
the
but
money.
You're gonna have like
dump the money.
You're gonna have like an $80 million dead cap hit or something like ginormous like that. But Ben, what is your thoughts on this Colts 40-6 thrashing of the Raiders?
James, I wish I can give you some good things. I mean, heck, you guys beat us, so that's I guess something. The first week, but I will say Geno just goes crazy at New England. So I don't know. Maybe if he just goes to another team, I'll probably kill us no matter what. But regardless, Colts also are just really really good. I think.
Yeah.
They're really clicking all cylinders. Jonathan Taylor. People just got to realize this guy's still an absolute stud. Pittman and Warren. Daniel Jones really has found his new home. And I kind of was, not a great believer on Daniel Jones for a while. With the Giants, I thought he was garbage. But maybe it's just kind of like I just didn't see the other, thinking of it. And if maybe go somewhere else and had a decent offensive line, I'm really happy for him. He proved me wrong. And he's looking kind of like how, in college there was a lot of good tape with him at Duke. I don't know. Yeah, it was at Duke. I think that's where he went to college. So he's kind of like turning back the clock now. He's kind of showing how, what scouts are kind of looking at with him at Duke with the system now he has. So it's been good to see. And Anthony Richardson now I think should go somewhere else. I think that he has a lot of raw tools. I heard maybe like the Rams potentially. Apparently, there's one team maybe that he might look as like a backup, which I think would be kind of interesting. But we'll see about that. But the Raiders to me, James, I think it just comes down to the defense. That defense right now, just every single time I was on red zone today, the Raiders are always in the red zone from the Colts side of things. So that kind of tells me not great vibes. But I mean, obviously Bowers being hurt. I mean, I do wish him well. I do hope that he comes back because that is a big big focal point. Obviously, that team. But yeah, I mean, just gotta I guess move on to next week. And like you said, the Titans. The Titans obviously pulled an absolute miracle today against the Cardinals. I don't know if they could be able to do.
We'll talk about them in a bit.
But yeah, James, I don't know if you watched tonight's Bills-Patriots game though. If you want to get into that.
I got to see probably the late third quarter into the fourth. I was also watching the Tiger game as well, but it's one of those like it's the same feeling I had in 2020 when the Raiders finally defeated the Chiefs, and then on Christmas 2 seasons ago they beat the Chiefs again, and that's really been it, of course. Right. It had that feeling for Patriot fans as like, oh, this feels like the Brady years. This feels good. I was talking about, I think, with Isaiah this earlier, and it just felt like, okay, the Bills was the Patriots for the division, right? The standard. It's the Bills now, or it's been the
Right.
Bills, right?
Right.
Like the Patriots are trying to get it back or make it even at least, which they could maybe, but I think the Bills are still the better team. But tonight exercised so many demons from, you said 15 losses in a row in Buffalo or against
Right.
Buffalo?
15 losses straight. 15 home
Straight up.
Yep.
Okay,
They-
so that
Becker.
was, I think the Jets had or have they beat the Bills in this
They beat the Bills.
decade?
It was at MetLife. It was that game where I think it was a kick return game where they
Oh,
won.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't
But I feel
that wasn't in Buffalo.
right, because I remember Rodgers went to Buffalo last year, and that game was
I
a
think
blowout.
Win actually, the last one in Buffalo could have been that Bengals AFC game, the playoff game. I don't know if it was that long enough, but I mean, I know the Broncos won there. I think it was a walk-off field goal, but like it's been
Oh yeah, that was a Monday night game.
yeah. So
Yeah, like Isaiah mentioned, it's really hard to play there and to win there.
yeah.
Tonight the environment was out there very
Mhm.
well, but Drake May, like you guys were talking about him earlier, he's their future of the team. He looked like it today, a lot of poise getting out of the pocket, and that play that Isaiah showed completing to Diggs, that's something you see out of like Josh Allen, or you see from Joe Burrow, or you see from Jalen Hurts,
Mahomes.
or Mahomes, Prescott, like that. Those plays are Justin Herbert, like the elite, of
Herbert.
course, in the NFL, and you're just hoping he ascends to that height. But this win is a stepping stone toward, getting everything back that you lost. It feels like,
Right.
and that's what I think Variable wanted to emphasize coming in, was like, okay, I was from the old times, and I want the old times back. Kraft wants the old times back. The fans do. They want to be proud of this team again, and everybody wants to be proud of, being a Patriot again. And he's instilled that this season, and it felt like right away. If you minus that game against the Raiders, they thrashed the Panthers. They had tonight, which again, it just felt like a weight has been lifted off. And then when they play Buffalo again in Foxborough, I can't really wait for that game.
Yeah.
And my guess is like what, late in the season? I haven't looked at the Patriots schedule.
It's in like mid-December.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So it's late, kind of later in the year, week 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
I definitely going to be watching that, because who knows, it might be a changing of the guard if the Bills have finally, kind of lost whatever they had. If Allen looked a little banged up tonight, maybe that lingers. Maybe the deep. I know it's Trey White was having a hard time, trying to cover people. And Stephon Diggs, I totally forgot about this coming into tonight's game.
Yep.
It's a revenge game, and I always look for those where you play against a former team, and then you play against a quarterback that you used to catch passes from, and you guys had your beefs, or mostly Diggs, I guess, the diva receiver that he is, and he still could be, but I think he exercised a bunch of demons. I know he was talking a lot, but he backed it up. He had the 10 catches, I think, tonight, I want to say.
Yeah, it was like Minnesota Stephon Diggs tonight out there.
The route running was very good. I noticed from Diggs. I mean, he was pure on his routes going out to the sideline. He made a lot of catches down the sideline. Maybe just with the defense, not, make that game closer with the defensive penalties. We saw some pass interference
I
ones.
was like, what's going on?
and you feel like, oh no, they're gonna give the Bills the advantage, and they're gonna go
Right.
and
Yeah.
come back. But what's good, the Patriots managed the game well enough that you didn't give the Bills enough time to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that's always been the Bills thing when it comes to the Chiefs, is leaving too much time for Pat Mahomes. He goes down the field, they make a field, Bucker makes a field goal. We've seen this rerun before, but now you don't have to worry about that tonight. So it's a win. You can definitely hang your hat on. I don't know what they called it for a Patriot hat back in the day, but you can hang that hat on and be very proud to be patriotic.
Well, Isaiah, tell James what our schedule's like after this game, because
Oh, I heard it seems
Yeah, I
easy.
actually have a graphic of it, I think, over here. Yeah, so this is the schedule for the Patriots. So they got the Bills.
Wow.
They won that, and then that's why tonight's game was such a turning point, because you win that, and then now you got at New Orleans, at Tennessee, Cleveland, who are all like, awful, sadly, but it's the NFL. Anything can happen on a given week, but you got to take care of business there. And then you got the Falcons, who have a lot of question marks. Buccaneers is going to be tough, but then after that, Jets, Bengals. We'll see if Burrow plays in that game. Who knows?
No, he'll still be
Giants. Yeah, he probably.
Listen,
Like,
I'm looking at those matchups, and I think out of the whole entire list, Baker's the one guy I fear the most.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
It's if the other games that we play and we lose, it's probably because we beat ourselves. Honestly.
Yeah, there's two games, no offense, Ben, that I want to be flexed out, but it's the Jet, because I don't want to see the Jets. I don't want to see anything New York except Buffalo.
Hey, listen, they might put that Thursday night game on the Nickelodeon channel like they sometimes do for Thanksgiving.
And then I want to see the Giants. Well, I'll be at work anyway, so I won't watch that Giants game. But I me and Boston Connor from the McAfee show, we kind of had the same thoughts about the New York teams, to never put them on prime time ever again until they got their stuff together. It was like, dude, I feel that. I'm like, I don't want to see them anymore. All you see is their shots of their fans being pissed and everything. And with the injury to Neighbors now, it's like the Jets, and you saw what they did today. I don't want to see them anymore. So I do too. But
the Giants on Thursday night, by the way.
Oh God! No, I'll be at the Clipper game.
By the way,
I won't be.
That Malik Neighbors is suffering 4 injuries currently right now.
Yeah,
toe, torn ACL,
or meniscus.
Oh God!
And a torn ACL.
That just. If it was like 40 years ago, he'd be out.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I don't even know how the recovery time is. If you have 4 of those, you're probably gonna miss all next season. There's no way he's coming back next season.
And I was saying, 40 years ago, he'd be out 3 years, but people wouldn't want him anymore because they would just cut him. But he's so young that he can recover, and you know how the medical field is now, the process of everything.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't rush him back. I really want it. I would just say, hey, we're going to tank a little more, more than they already have. But maybe you can get, I don't know, maybe a running back that you need. Whatever the case is, Giants have to get it. But yeah, I feel bad for the whole regime that's probably going to be let go too.
Brian Dable, man.
Right.
I mean, he's going to be...
I kind of feel bad for him. He's a great coach, great motivator, or he knows when to get into players. And you just wish he had a better team in order to do that.
I'll tell you what, guys. What do you guys think about this Monday night game? This game could be kind of low-key interesting. Jacksonville obviously they won against you guys, Isaiah. It seemed like you guys just kind of beat yourselves personally.
We did.
But, Pat, obviously the Chiefs with a big game against Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore now just looks like absolutely, and granted they have some injuries, but they look out of whack. But Jacksonville has been so far pretty good with turning the ball over defensively. And I think that if they got a chance to win, I don't think they're going to win, granted. I mean, that's obviously my prediction. But I do think there's a chance they can keep it close. I actually do. At least for maybe a couple quarters or so, Xavier Worthy just went back on the injury report. That was reported by Adam Schefter.
Oh,
He is currently questionable with, I think, a shoulder injury and a knee injury. There's 2 injuries that he's currently dealing with right now. And
yikes.
he was a big focal point to how the Chiefs were to start to cook again last week. So if he somehow was out, they kind of then go back to kind of square one, personally, kind of how they were kind of looking before. Because, I mean, Mahomes obviously is Mahomes. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, it's another big game, but, like, he's a big part of their offense. And I do think, though, they're going to get Rashee Rice back pretty soon. So I do think that's going to
After week 6, I want to say.
Yeah. So he's going to be on his way back. I mean, the Chiefs can start humming pretty soon, which is obviously a scary sight. But yeah, I think like this could be a very interesting game. I do hopefully like Brian Thomas Jr. can get cooking because last year was a stud, and apparently Shane Waldron's ruined a lot of receivers in the past.
Chicago Bears.
Rome Odunze, yep. I know a lot of Bear fans that I know that have talked about that. Brian Thomas Jr. can get going on that offense. That takes their offense to another level because I do think Travis Hunter is the real deal. And Trevor Lawrence just has to kind of play turnover free. That's kind of asking a lot. Trevor Lawrence can turn the ball over and give the ball like crazy. But I don't know. I could definitely see this game could be kind of low-key fun.
You know, I actually got the Jags winning this game because I think that it's in Jacksonville. It was in Arrowhead. I could probably see the Jags not really having that much of a shot, but I mean the Jags have been really good this season. They like get a lot of turnovers. Their offense has been sort of humming this season. And you look at it like the weather's going to be kind of mucky there in Jacksonville, and I don't really see any weapons from the Chiefs that just really stand out to me and make me scared, to be honest. So, like, I actually got the Jags winning this game.
Yeah, I'll go Chiefs still. Chiefs are Chiefs until they aren't. Felt like they were back. I don't know about Jacksonville. I don't know if they're back to how they were in 22. Remember, these two met in that playoffs. I think the divisional round, and Chiefs won. But that's been the last time we really saw the Jags at their best, and they're back to it, so to speak, right now. Yeah, I like what Ben said about turnovers with Trevor Lawrence. He is the worst when he tries to get out of the pocket and try to do stuff that isn't really intuitive to win the games. And then the stat that I mentioned last week, Isaiah, with the Jags defense already having 9 turnovers this season, and that's how much they had last year. So they're already improving, especially defensively. ETN is always a big key to their offense as well with the running, and then he has some more help now. So they're pretty stacked, and then we just have to wonder about the Chiefs. But the one thing I want to see at the Everbank Field, I want to see like a Jags presence. I don't want to see the whole, stadium red. I think that would be a disservice. I want to see actually, if there are Jags fans, I want to see them.
Right. But yeah, let's go back to the Sunday slate. Let's stick.
Oh wait, what about? Did you redo your team?
No, not yet. I haven't done well, I was gonna save it for the end.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna save I was gonna go Sunday and then because we did the Monday already, and I was gonna do Sunday and then just save it for the end. But we need some excitement here. Let's go to the exciting game of the 10 a.m. slot, which was the Broncos hand the Philadelphia Eagles their first loss of the season. The Eagles had a 17-3 lead for majority of this game. It seemed like they had a stranglehold on this game. I actually turned the game off for a little bit, James, because I was like, you know what? Eagles got this. Like, their defense is just suffocating Bo Nix and the Broncos. But the Broncos somehow, some way, find a way to come back and win this game by a final score of 21-17. There was a late flag two flags there was a intentional grounding. Bo Nix threw the ball away, but
Yeah.
it was rude. Yeah, it was rude intentional grounding. But they pulled the flag. They said that there was no intentional grounding, which pissed off Nick Sirianni. And then there was another one where I believe it was the Broncos, or it was the Broncos wide receiver. I believe he makes the catch, he gets down, and then Zach Bond with like a late hit, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like all that bad, to be honest. James, before I give my thoughts on it, what was your thoughts on this Broncos Eagles game as we get away from the depression of the early games in our teams?
Yeah. Well, no, your team won, and Ben's team won too.
My team.
Mine never did.
Yeah.
No, Zach Bonnie definitely deserved that penalty. He's been an awesome player, but he has to know when is when. You know, like at Olive Garden when they're sprinkling the cheese on your plate, you're supposed to say "win" at a good time, and I never do. And this is a case here where he's aggressive, but he's got to know that's a defenseless receiver, a runner, and he didn't. And the referees are going to look out for that. And he just picked the worst opportune time for that to happen. And that really gave Denver the game. And shout out to Bo Nix for staying in there, not being afraid of their defense. And you could tell Philly's defense, they really had a letdown late in this game. It kind of felt like opposite of halves when they played the Rams, where they had an awful first half and they had a great second half. It felt like that in this game as well. But Denver, I think I told you or somebody that this would test themselves if they were going to be legit or not for the rest of the season for this year. Because remember, everybody's really hype on them this year. Everybody's like, okay, they're going to go now. They're going to be contenders now. And I think beating the Eagles and, having them not undefeated anymore really shows that still. They have to take care of the division, though, when they play Kansas City. And they play the tougher opponents eventually. But this was the toughest. You're playing the reigning Super Bowl champs. And I know Dobbs had a late touchdown. Sutton had some great catches, really clutch one late. But it comes down to Eagles not being as explosive enough, especially Saquon Barkley. It feels like he's had a slump, really. He did have a long catching pass of 47 yards, but Devontae Smith had a great game despite not getting a touchdown. A.J. Brown, throw him the damn ball. He was pissed during the week. Despite being on a 4-0 team, he wanted touches. He hinted maybe at a trade. He still could, especially after, today. But you didn't really need that. And it's always him. Remember, I think he had beef with what's it freaking Hurts last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
They squashed
if they didn't win
whatever.
the Super Bowl. If they didn't win the Super Bowl, I think AJ Brown would have been out. I think he would have been out the door.
Yeah. It still could happen this year. I mean, Hurts threw for 2 touchdowns still. But credit to Patrick Surtain the second, or PS2, as I love that nickname. He had the defensive play late in the game, the good knock away, and then they had the Hail Mary attempt. Philadelphia did. Ended up both marquee receivers on top of one another. But yeah, it's a great road win. It's another surprise win of week 5 as we get into all the scores. But that was such a surprise, and it was a lot of fun to watch. If you're a Bronco fan, it kind of propels you back into belief that you can be what people are telling you that you're going to be. And I truly believe that from today.
No, I agree. I think this was a great win by the Broncos. The way that they looked dead in the water early for majority of the game, and then they come back and punch back against the Eagles and to win the game at the end, it was great. Yeah, Zach Bond, did I think that there should have been a flag? It's tough because I think they should just let the players play. But you gotta watch out in that situation. I thought the Eagles, like you look at the last play before the Hail Mary, James, where Dallas Goedert was PI. Like I don't know if you watched that
Oh
play, but
yeah,
that
yeah.
PI, he was hell. Like there was no way around that. But yeah, like I think you're right. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley is just not explosive like he was last year. It seems like he's kind of lost that step from last year. Maybe it's kind of a hangover. Who knows? Devontae Smith finally broke out, which was nice to see. AJ Brown, he finally, or AJ Brown, the issues continue there. But, Dobbins was great for the Broncos. I mean, he had 20 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. He was a bruising power back. Bo Nix, some of the passes late in the game to Sutton and Franklin and even Evan Ingram as well. Those were really clutch passes too. But yeah, credit to the Broncos for fighting, for staying with it, and being able to come out with the victory. Because like you said, like with the Patriots game, it's like one big win like this could really turn around your whole season. And I believe that could really happen. Yeah, with the Broncos. Let's go to the next game. The Dolphins. They were up in this game, James. They had a 17-10 lead at halftime, and they blow it. They give it all away. The Carolina Panthers, with a late touchdown pass with 1:59 to go, Bryce Young finds Mitchell Evans, 4-yard touchdown pass for the game. James, sadly, I think that this is the signal, the end of the era for Mike McDaniel. He looked disgusted. He looked just
took his
really
glasses
depressed.
off in the tunnel, which never happens.
Saw that?
He never takes his glasses off.
Yeah. He looked like he was just out, like he was out. He had ran out of ideas and everything. The Dolphins, look, Tua played a great game. He was 27 of 36, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. They continued their issue of not being able to run the ball. They had on the ground, they had a total of 20 yards like rushing. Devon Achane, 10 carries, 16 yards. Tua Tagovailoa had a carry for 5 yards, and Ollie Gordon had 3 carries for -2 yards. When you can't run the football, like that's never a good sign in the NFL. Waddle had an amazing day with 6 catches for 110 yards. How about the reemergence of Darren Waller, James, coming out of retirement, and he goes 5 catches, 78 yards, another touchdown for him. As far as the Panthers are concerned, Rico Dowdle, like backup, or I think he's a backup. Yeah, backup running back.
Yeah, he was the backup.
He had an
Chuba was out today.
pitch. Right, 23 carries, 206 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Ted McMillan looks like an absolute steal, the wide receiver for the Panthers. He had 6 catches for 73 yards. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked, James, if McDaniel gets fired like in the coming days. Like I think that it's all over for him there in Miami.
I think another blowout loss. This was not a blowout loss. Yeah, credit to Rico.
Panthers is bad though.
But the Panthers, I actually thought would be kind of ascending to being a little bit better. I know it, but it's just one of those losses. Like, yeah, we had it, but we lost it. But I don't think it's a fireable offense. I don't think you can fire everybody after every loss. We don't. It's not like Madden or whatever. I forget the dude's last name. I don't want it because he was the backup with Dallas all those years. Rico Dowdle.
Dowdle.
Yeah, Dowdle. Okay. He had one of those games on Madden that you love to have when you put your settings to rookie or pro or whatever. That was awesome to see. I mean, 9 yards per carry average. And a touchdown too, like you mentioned. When you have a breakout day like that, sometimes you're gonna lose, but it goes to show you though how much the Miami defense has faltered. And it's no fault to their old defensive coordinator. I forget who it was. Vic. Oh God, what was his name? the one that they ran out of Miami, and they blamed him for all the problems, and then they got worse, and then players like Ramsey left. Vic DeFangio, I think was his name. But it seemed like they're worse without him, and they said he was the problem. I think now he's with the Eagles. I think he's their defensive coordinator. I want to say, but yeah, if you look at Miami stats, it's like okay, they should have won, but they couldn't stop the run. And then, like you said, with McMillan, he looks very good. I was worried about him coming out of the draft because he didn't have the right, like study habits or right mental, thoughts to play this game. So, as long as he's, engaged and he's ready to go, Bryce Young has a weapon. And I know Leggett had a touchdown too. He's a Southern favorite. And Eric Collins called this game. I don't know if you heard the calls, but he's that exciting announcer for the Charlotte Hornets. He used to be with the Dodgers. And it sounded like when the younger, like Gus Williams from like 25 years ago, or no, I'm sorry, Gus Johnson. It sounded like him. I haven't heard that in years. Like a random high-pitched announcer for like a horrible regular season game, and he's calling these like it's the playoffs, like it's a Super Bowl or the college football game or something. So Eric Collins calling that game was cool, but yeah, credit to the Panthers for not giving up in this game. But then you have to look at the Dolphins. I know Fitzpatrick had a pick, but other from that, I know somebody got in there a couple times for sacks, but the problem was the defense. They did have a great game, against the Jets last week, but it shows you though the Panthers are kind of making strides, and you really want to see that if you're a Carolina fan.
Yeah, and Bryce Young gets a lot of heat, but he actually played pretty good in this game, especially late down the stretch to propel the Panthers. But James, as we wrap up the 10 a.m. slot of games, let's just put all three of these games together because I don't think we really have much to say about it because either they were blowouts or they just weren't interesting. The Cowboys beat the Jets 37-22. The Giants, yeah, go ahead.
No, about the Cowboy game, real quick.
Yeah. Well, no, I was gonna just like put it all three together.
Okay, yeah, go.
All three at once. Okay.
Go.
Cowboys beat the Jets 37-22. Jets are 0-5. Aaron Glenn's the first Jets coach, by the way, in history of the Jets to go 0-5 as a head coach's start. The Giants trying to ride the Jackson Dart momentum. A lot of us had this being Jackson Dart's breakout game, or continuing the breakout. They lose in the Superdome 26-14. Kellen Moore gets his first win as a head coach. And last but not least, the Texans blow out the Ravens in Baltimore 44-10. People were booing John Harbaugh as he walked off the field. James, I'll say this before I go to you on this. The Cowboy game, look, Brian Schottenheimer, I might have been wrong about him being a head coach because he's a really good offensive play caller. Like, I really liked a lot of the offense that they were running in Dallas there in that game. Dak Prescott looked really good. I know the Jets defense aren't the best, but a lot of the plays that he was running was very creative in that game. So credit goes to him. The Jets, you made a prediction that the Jets would go 0-17 under Aaron Glenn. I think that, and yeah, Casey, I completely agree with you that the morning games were just flat out doo-doo. But yeah, the Jets, their defense is atrocious. They're still very undisciplined. They commit so many penalties in that game. And if you don't believe that, if you thought that Justin Fields was the answer for the Jets, that was the game that tipped it that he's not the answer at all. And he's not an NFL caliber quarterback. I'm just so done with Justin Fields. I know Jets fans are done with Justin Fields. The Jets need to have someone that can actually throw the ball because right now it's not it for Justin Fields. The Giants game, I think the biggest takeaway is that Brian Daboll, he's going to be gone pretty soon. Like that was just atrocious there, especially for an offensive quote unquote genius like he is. Credit to the Saints defense. They played pretty good. Kellen Moore had the Saints ready to go. Spencer Rattler, 21 of 31, 225 yards, 1 touchdown. He looked pretty solid in that game. And then I think the last one, the Ravens and the Texans. I mean, are the Texans back, James? I mean, they beat up a injury-riddled Ravens team. Without Lamar, unfortunately they're not anything, sadly. So that sucks to see. And it might go
Weird
on
to say
a
that,
lot,
huh?
a lot. Yeah, it might go on a lot longer because, like we were talking off the air, Lamar Jackson has a hamstring strain. There's no way he's like, I know Ben said he's not coming back next week. There's no way he's coming back in a month because those things take a long time to heal. So without him, you're running out Cooper Rush. Half your defense is hurt. Like, I just think sadly this is going to be like one of those wash years for the Baltimore Ravens. And at that, if the Ravens are like 1-9 when Lamar comes back or supposed to come back, I don't know if you bring him back. So James, what are your thoughts on these 3 doo-doo games as we wrap up the morning slate?
What you said. Okay, first about the Cowboys and Jets. Cowboys had that all the way. I think the Jets are the only team in history to go 0-5 without a single turnover made. The defense hasn't forced a turnover yet. So that's very shocking. Because, Aaron Glenn, he's a defensive coach. He came from Detroit, and you expect that, right? You expect, some plays. He's, the defense is their bread and butter, but the bread has mold, and the butter is expired for the Jets there. The Giants and the New Orleans Saints. I was very disappointed. I know Jackson Dart did throw her 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 picks, and they didn't look very well. I was watching highlights at the gym today, and I was cringing when I saw those because me, I had all the hype about them. Like, okay, here they go now. This game was going to be the really coming out party because they're playing the Saints, but they played at a Saints level, and that's never good. He did throw for 200 yards, but still, he still had the running ability, which was good, but it was just the passes that got him in trouble. And Scatterboo, I thought he was going to have a great game today. He didn't really have a great game, and he fumbled too. And then he was yelling at the Giants staff to get him new gloves. And last week I saw a mic'd up moment where somebody was complaining about gloves and fumbling the ball. So maybe there's a epidemic about how slippery the gloves are with running backs. I don't know, but really disappointed in the Giants' effort today. I really thought they were going to come back at least, and they never did. But credit to the Saints, they needed that. You don't want to go undefeated, or you don't want to lose every game. And credit to Kellen Moore dialing up the right offensive plays. There was 3 fumbles total in that game that the Saints forced or the Giants fumbled, and then the 2 interceptions. So the Saints played a well-rounded game. Rattler had 225 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Really good to see if you're a Saints fan. Quickly, just about that Texan game. I really thought that was going to happen, but not that explosive, right? The Texans, they've scored so many points the last 2 weeks. I was trying to remember how much they blew out the Texans by. I'm sorry, the Titans by. But they did the same thing to Baltimore here. And it was the one time for a Raven game in the regular season that you saw empty blue seats coming out of halftime that weren't filled up in the third quarter. Like, people were leaving at halftime. That's how bad it was. And then you had talked about the booing of Harbaugh, going down the tunnel or going to the tunnel or whatever. They did it, but then when he looked up, like it kind of stopped or it kind of died down. It was kind of like it was kind of BS in that way. Whereas like, oh, you're booing him, but you won't do it to his face. that was the feeling, and I know the booing could have been behind the front row fans or whatever the case was, but when he looked up, it kind of stopped. So it made me think of like a teacher that was like, uh, wanting quiet noise in the classroom, and when he would like slam something or make some noise, everybody shut up. But that's how bad it is with Baltimore. Um, there could be a chance they'll be in last place if the Browns ever get it together. If the defense wins them games like they've won one with their defense, Cleveland could be in third this year, which I don't think any of us had. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of bad games in the morning, but in the afternoon, we saw two games that were that had great endings. Let's just say.
That's right. Let's get into those great games in the afternoon slate. Let's start with I think one of the best games of the day, which was the Bucks going to Seattle, battle of teams that only had one loss. The Bucks going to Seattle, and this game was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A lot of offense in this game. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, because of a late game stupid interception by Sam Darnold, in which he's getting flushed to his right. Yeah, he's getting flushed to his right. Tries to make like a Drake May-like throw where he's about to get sacked. He just throws it over the middle, and he gets picked off. The Seahawks had the ball at the fifth. I think they had the ball at their own 30-yard line at that point, with 58 seconds left. James, Sam Darnold was awful in this game. He had 3 interceptions in this game for Seattle.
I have him at 1 interception and 4 touchdowns.
Never mind that. I was looking at the wrong game.
I was going to say.
But, yeah, that 1 interception was really bad. But both quarterbacks, look, they played really well. Sam Darnold, 28 of 34, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. That is the right game. And then Baker Mayfield had 29 to 33, 379 yards, 2 touchdowns. Neither defense really could stop anybody in this game. Rashard White had 14 carries, 41 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emeka Egbuka continues his amazing rookie season as he had 7 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, I think this game really came down to, James, that last interception by Sam Darnold, like where he's trying to do too much, pressures in his face, throws it right over the middle, throws it to Levante David, and that gets picked off. It was a really bad pick because it set up the Buccaneers in really, really good field position to win this football game. The Bucs, honestly, they've been winning a lot of games like in the last minute of the game. If you look at all their wins, it all happens in the last either minute or 30 seconds. Yeah, against the Jets, the Falcons as well. But yeah, this was just really entertaining, just back and forth, back and forth. Sam Darnold late pick cost him. I guess that's really what I have to say about this game. But what was your thoughts on this game?
Chase McLaughlin, he's becoming so clutch with his field goals to win games. I think he has 3 of them so far this year, I want to say. He was 3 for 3 today. But man, it goes to Baker Mayfield. Just being clutch late in the game, especially where he rolls out, he makes some plays either with his arm or his feet. He's really good, and I'm just happy he found a home. And White had the 2 touchdowns, and remember Bucky Young was downgraded to out, hours before the game, so they kind of missed him rushing. It would have been a better attack for Tampa Bay if you could imagine that. One thing before I continue, it was the 50th anniversary of both teams, and they both wore their throwback jerseys from that era. So I loved that part. The Seahawks wearing their 80s uniforms, and they had the end zones painted and the gray helmet logo in the front. At the 50-yard line. So that was awesome for, people that love throwbacks and jerseys. I really loved that game. And then the reason I had my hands up and my fist up when you mentioned Egbuka's numbers, well, I have him in fantasy, and I'm so happy I have him. Because this dude went off today, He had a 57-yard catch. He had a touchdown, 163 yards in total. They were really looking for him downfield. They were wondering who was going to step up without Mike Evans there. And he's just been awesome. He might be rookie of the year so far. I'm trying to think of anybody else. But he's had all the receptions key to their wins this year. Absolutely awesome. And now for the Seahawks, though, you take the good, you take the bad with Sam Darnold, and the fact that they had those 4 touchdowns in a row. He threw for 4. There was 1 rushing as well. Man, it's just like you mentioned, that one pick that just killed the team. Barner had 2. The tight end had 2 touchdowns. Really had to run hard for those touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, I would love to see more out of him. I know he had a clutch third down catch, but I was hoping he would have had a little more. But Jackson Smith and Gila, he had a good day as well in the air, catching balls. And like Casey King mentioned, the throwback jerseys were awesome during the game. Really, really had everybody buzzing. And shout out to CBS, the graphics for going throwback as well, having the logos there. And then I forgot to mention last week too, with the NFL Today on CBS, the morning show. They had a whole like retro one from 1975 or whatever, the way it looked. Matt Ryan had the whole goatee look. Bill Cowher and Nate Burleson, James Brown, and then Brett Musburger came on for a little bit too. So nostalgia, even though I wasn't born, I watched YouTube all the time, and I watched like old clips, old shows, and the last 2 weeks for throwbacks have just been amazing. But yeah, the Bucks, they get a great win on the road, and for some reason the Seahawks have like the worst time at home, but they love going on the road and winning. Like, it's really bad at home. If you look from the start of last year, I want to say they have like the worst record well, I want to say the worst record at home, but it's top 5. But in change, they have a great road record. And you saw that last Thursday with, in Arizona winning that game. But somehow the Seahawks, man, their defense with Waylon not doing well. They also had a big injury today in their secondary. They're allowing too many big passes, and they're good up front, but just the secondary is just not good, man. It feels like they need veteran leadership somewhere in that defense, and they're just not getting it. Maybe they go out in trades and getting it, but credit to the Bucks again, being in games and then winning them. That almost felt like the Texan game that they had in week 2 on that Monday night.
Yeah, I forgot also to mention, James, I think also besides the Darnold interception, what really cost the Seahawks was, I believe, the third down after Darnold had thrown the pick. Buccaneers were trying to like get into field goal range, but I think Seattle would have had some time still if they had stopped them.
Oh yeah.
The field goal. That third down and 8 run, where the running back turns the right corner. Everybody in the stadium knew it was going to be a run play, and for some reason, you can't set the edge. You let the guy get a first down, and that's basically all she wrote for the Bucks. But yeah, I don't know. The defense for Seattle always gives up like really pivotal plays in big moments for some reason. And then like Sam Darnold, big moments, always turns the ball over. That's always has like a really bad stinker moment. But let's get into the other great game of the afternoon slate, which also happened in the NFC West. James, as a Niner fan, I'm really happy of the results that happened this week. Let's go to the desert, where Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans rally back from a 21-3 deficit and beat the Arizona Cardinals on a walk-off field goal. We have a video clip that we need to play, but before I play that video clip, the Arizona Cardinals were also up 21-6 entering the fourth quarter of this game. But yeah, this shows, ladies and gentlemen, why the Arizona Cardinals might be one of the most sorry clown franchise of the NFL.
McBride working against Hooker, just off to the races. 20-10 touchdown. Stunning turn of events. What looked to be a 72-yard touchdown run has been overturned. The officials looked at it. They deemed that clock running inside of 5 minutes. Whitmer goes through his progressions. Everyone covers, slings it back. It's deflected and picked. Taylor Davidson, and then the football came out. Who recovers? Tennessee. And throw the ball on time. Ward cooks some air under it. Off the sideline. Ridley. Holder, Morgan Cox, the long snapper. The kick from Sly is good. And the Tennessee Titans end their 10-game losing streak.
Was that Mike
James.
McCoy with the Titans?
Yeah.
Thought that was him.
I think is their quarterback coach.
Yikes.
This might have been one of the most embarrassing losses a team has suffered in like the last 5 to 10 years, because you look at everything that happened, right? Not only did they blow a 21-6 fourth quarter lead, but you looked at the play. DeMercado, the running back, had green grass to the end zone. He was running, and then he fumbled crossing the goal line, or he fumbled the ball. He dropped the ball early as he was crossing the goal line. That would have put the Cardinals up 28-6, I believe, instead of 28-3. It would have been 28-6, but instead of being a touchdown, Arizona with all the momentum, it was first down Tennessee from the 20th. And then you looked at that video. They fumbled an interception They got the pick, and then they fumbled it literally with about 5 minutes left to go in the ball game. And then not just that, the last drive for the Titans, before the last drive for the Titans, the Cardinals had the ball at their own 35-yard line. Everybody knows they're going to run the football. So what do the Cardinals do? They decide to run up the middle 3 times, and they only pick up a combined 1 yard on that drive. And Tennessee calls all 3 timeouts. They get the ball back. They didn't get anything out of that. And then on that last drive for Tennessee, everybody knows the best receiver for the Tennessee Titans is Calvin Ridley. Why are you not doubling him or tripling him, putting all your attention on him, and you let him get wide open? Cam Ward right down the sideline, big catch, and set them up in field goal range. And Jonathan Gannon, too. He had 3 timeouts, James. He had 3 timeouts. He never used any of it at the end. So, Arizona deserved to lose that game. Credit to the Titans. Cam Ward was clutch. That game-winning drive was picture-perfect, throwing it across the middle for a first down, and then that great pass to Ridley down the sideline. Happy for Brian Callahan, who many expected him to be let go if they, continue to be 0 whatever. But credit to him. He gave up play calling duties, which really helped. But yeah, this was just a really clownish loss by the Cardinals, just a complete disaster on all phases. Everything was just childish mistakes that you don't see from an NFL team. So, James, what was your thoughts as the Cardinals blow this game, the Titans win their first game, and now the NFC West, my Niners have a 1-game lead on all the teams?
I think it's going to happen again for Tennessee. They're going to the next desert to play the Raiders. And the way the Cardinals lost, was the way that they won a game in Vegas. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, where the Raiders had the game and blew it late, just like the Cardinals did with mistakes. I think Renfro had like a big fumble and they returned it the other way in overtime. It just felt like that. And with Casey King mentioning, the Arizona Cardinals are another overhyped rated team. As long as they have Kyler Murray as their quarterback, they're going nowhere. That's why earlier today I messaged you, when we were talking about the game, that I never can take the Arizona Cardinals seriously. Like I kind of did when they had, veterans like Kurt Warner, right? Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, Darnell Dockett. They have Calais Campbell back, but he can only do so much defensively. When they had all these guys, Adrian Wilson, Arenas Williams back in the day, then you could count on people. But they just don't have that really. They just have a bunch of young players, and they're all trying to learn how to win. And now they're getting a little bit older, and you expect a little more, and not these blow-ups, you know. But good for Tennessee. And like you mentioned with Ridley, he's always had this in him to explode for yardage. And he's had a couple of games like this now, this season, where Ridley has really gone off. So you can really count on him. But yeah, you got to do a better job of covering him. D. Mercado, I think he went to my high school or the rival in Downey. I can't remember which one, but either Downey or Warren. But I remember that name only because of that. Yeah, you can't do that. Man, I really miss the days where people like just tuck the ball in all the way, even two hands, right? And you wait till you get over the line and into the end zone, and then you can let the ball go, give it to the official like Barry Sanders did every time, instead of being cool and trying to flick the ball like he did. And the fact that it's happened 2 weeks in a row. Remember with was it Richardson with the Colts last week, letting the ball go before he crossed the line in Inglewood against the Rams. These type of mistakes are so hard to overcome, and they've lost games for both of these situations, for their teams, I should say. And it gives teams a chance. Like it gave the Rams a chance, no doubt. But to give the Titans a chance to win and some more things happening, you can't make those mistakes. And the Cardinals always seem to do this. And that's why I can never take them seriously. Like, I never thought they were going to be in the wild card this year. I just thought they would flounder again. You know, I know Kyler is loving the new Call of Duty. He's probably playing that 4 days out of the week, especially on the road. But yeah, this is probably Steven, I'm going to say on this, or Ben. But they say
Steven.
Seems like Steven, shout out Steven, and the Vikings in London Town getting the win when I was asleep. Seems like this is a regular thing in the NFL where players think that they can score a TD and celebrate too early and drop the ball before crossing the goal line and they fumble. There was yeah, it's all about thinking of what dance you're gonna do and how it goes viral. And you're not worried about like getting the job done. And I was hoping to never see that again this year or ever again. And it's happened 2 weeks in a row. And like I said, it's killing the teams. It's killing your chances to win games. And you really, especially the Cardinals, you have to win games. But it goes to show you, like, the focus has to be there, the emphasis on doing your job and finishing the play. All that Belichick yells and screamed, you know, when you're listening maybe to his Patriots days, it's like, that's what it comes down to. Like, don't do anything stupid. Just get the play over with. Wait till you hear a whistle, then let the ball go, then do your dance. But he's young as well. But it's a learning moment. It's a teaching moment. It's a lesson. But when you're the Cardinals, there's so many of those lessons, and they never get corrected. But shout out to Tennessee again with Cam Ward saying that they were asked last week and they'll never win a game. He was really itching to win a game, and to do that without the touchdowns, that, you know, I guess he didn't need it, but he threw, I think, for 268 yards, which was great. He found Ridley, and he was having a good relationship with him throwing the ball to him, did Ward. So that was really good to see it blow up. But it's more of the same again for Arizona.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, the thing with Arizona is they just don't know how to win these close games. Like, it happened against the Niners where, I mean, it wasn't their fault. Niners had a great drive. The defense choked late. Then Seattle, where they scored, I believe, too early. And then Sam Darnold came back, penalty on the Cardinals cornerback. that
Oh, yeah.
got them to the field goal range, and then now you have this situation. So Arizona, they're in a lot of these close games. They just need to learn to close it out. But we have a lot of comments. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I know a lot of people are trying to get my thoughts on the Niners and stuff. I promise you, we'll get that game. Will be the
At
last
the
game we'll
end.
talk about.
At the end, so I can
Yeah.
leave, please.
At the end, yeah. Well, we still got the college segment too, which we'll
No,
talk
I'm
a little
good.
bit about college. But yeah, let's go into our the second to last game before the Niner game. Commanders beat the Chargers in LA 27-10. This game, honestly, Justin Herbert was very, very mid in this game. He was 22 of 29. Yes, the completion percentage was pretty good, but 166 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Trey Lance actually came in late in this
Oh,
game.
wow.
Yeah. As Herbert was benched, I believe, late in the game, but Chargers really couldn't get any running game going. Herbert was your leading rusher. He had 60 yards rushing. Omari Hampton had 44 carries. Vidal had 18 yards on 4 carries, and then Hassan Haskins had 13 yards on 5 carries. The loss of Najee Harris, I think, is really starting to hurt the Chargers because they can't run the football right now. And then they don't have, this is the problem with the Chargers, James. Jim Harbaugh wants them to be a run-first team, power running team. Well, if your power back goes out, then it exposes you because the Chargers don't really have like a lot of explosive weapons in the pass game. Keenan Allen was your top target today. He had 5 catches for 58 yards. Ladd McConkey had 5 catches, but he only had 39 yards. And then other than that, Tyler Conklin had 2 catches. And your leading receiver was your running back, Omari Hampton, with 6 catches for 26 yards as your leading receptionist. But with the Chargers, they just don't have that running game. That's killing them right now. And then against a team like the Commanders, look, they ran the ball exceptionally well. Krosky Merritt, the young rookie, had 14 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel continues his renaissance. He had 8 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. It was basically the Deebo and Jaden Daniels show in this game. Daniels had 15 to 26, 231 yards and a touchdown. But, the Chargers, they can't play against these explosive teams because they just don't have that explosive weapons if they cannot run the football. And, I'm happy for Deebo Samuel because he looked like he was washed. He's proving everybody wrong. And now he's actually turning it around very well with Jaden Daniels there in Washington. But James, what's your thoughts on the you're in the LA area? What is your thought?
No, I'm not. No.
Fine,
I'm where the Chargers left. San Diego
you're
County.
where the Chargers used to be. But
yes,
what's your
that's
thoughts
right.
on the Chargers getting blown?
I didn't watch the third quarter of it, but I saw the first half and all the fourth quarter. Herbert again, he got sacked 4 times. You're hoping not to see that. And I think they lost a guard. I think number 79 had to come off the field in the first half. And remember, they already lost 2 tackles. They lost, what was his name that just got extended in the offseason?
Alt.
No. That was last week. That was Joe Alt with the Giants. They lost a really good one who they just extended in the training camp. In training camp, he got hurt. He was supposed to be their left tackle. Then they moved on to left tackle. Now he got hurt. They need to protect Herbert. And you could just tell he's getting rushed out of the pocket. Or when he stays in the pocket, he's getting collapsed on. And Omari Hampton actually left this game as well. So they could be really short next week, whomever they play next, when you think about the rushing attack. And then, you're not getting much from the receiver room. McCankey had the touchdown, but Quentin Johnson had an off day for once, of course, when I start him. Allen can only do so much. But let's get to the good part. Washington, Jalen Daniels, a homecoming. He grew up in Southern California in San Bernardino. I think the same area CJ Stroud grew up as well. So it's kind of becoming a hotbed for quarterbacks north of LA, or east of LA, I should say. But usually it's like Orange County that has the quarterbacks. But Yeah, look out for the IEs having quarterbacks. He had a great day, but his mom was in the house. Magic Johnson was in the house. He's a co-owner of the Commanders. A lot of people were there, and I think it was a solid win for Washington. Didn't really know what they were going to do. This was a game that Deebo Samuel. I was hoping he would show up for them, and he did. Like I said, and probably before the season or when they made that trade, he can only make him better or make him worse. And Deebo today made him better with a touchdown catch today. But credit to the defense as well for Washington. They've had a hard time so far this year, but they were able to really really contain Herbert from doing anything, and then getting that ball to the offense to score.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, very impressed with Debo. The Chargers just, man, there's just so many injuries with that team, like sadly,
Hmm.
I don't know
That's
where
every
they go
year,
from
though.
here now. Yeah, that
Every
is
year.
true. But I feel like you don't have that many like they've had this year with their entire offensive line seemingly leaving left and right, and
Well,
I
I
think
think it is. It's all of a sudden right now. It usually
yes.
goes throughout the season. This is all happening from training camp to right now. Like
Yeah.
last week with Harris or 2 weeks ago. It's just all happening all of a sudden. And it's really hammering them in their chances of a wild card spot. People thought they were going to even be, divisional champions, but that they're now not going to be anything unless they, get some healthy people in there. But luckily, the AFC, you feel like it's still up for grabs, to be a wild card. It feels like you could throw anybody in there, almost anybody. And Chargers are one of those teams.
Speaking of one of the teams that may be in the running late in the year for an AFC
No.
wildcard team, the Cincinnati Bengals.
No.
James. The
No.
Lions go into Cincinnati. They beat the Bengals 37-24 to continue their
Ugh.
stellar start. Look, Jared Goff, he hasn't thrown a pick, I think, since the first game of the season.
Oh yeah. Everybody was so bad in that first game.
Yeah, I read somewhere there was like a streak, but I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what it was, the interception streak. But Goff, 19 of 23, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery, 18 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Basically, this game, the Lions just bullied the Bengals. The Lions' offensive line was dominating and thrashing the Bengals defense. They couldn't get off the blocks. The Lions were running the football with ease all over the Bengals. And then when they weren't running the football, Jared Goff was just lighting it up. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown had a couple of big catches. Sam Laporta as well. They just couldn't stop him. Like, I don't know why. The Bengals defense, who is coordinated by Al Golden, by the way, the former Miami head coach. Notre Dame defensive coordinator. It just shows that, in like when you have success in college, it's just different. It doesn't translate to the NFL. But the Lions, look, they proved that. I mean, if there was any doubt that they're one of the NFL's elite, they proved they are. I mean, they just dominated the Bengals. This game wasn't even as close as the score indicated. It was like 37-10 at one or 30-10 at one point in this game. Credit to Jake Browning for letting them come back or for guiding the comeback, but he was the problem. He threw 3 picks in this game. A lot of the time, James, he looked scared to throw the football. I know he had a lot of defenders in his face, but it just seemed like his confidence was shot after he threw that first interception where he was hesitating a lot. He wasn't throwing the ball with accuracy. T. Higgins or Jamar Chase had 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins had 1. But the Bengals, they can't run the football. Brown and P. Ryan, 27 yards for both of them. Browning, turnover machine. They just need Burrow back. And I don't know when they're going to get Burrow back. I think the Lions sacked Browning a total of, I believe it was
2 times.
2 times. Okay, yeah, 2 times. So at least the offensive line was okay in this game, but there was a lot of pressure. And Detroit, they just overwhelmed them.
Okay, so with this game, it felt weird because the Bengals played like the Lions used to play, where they would get behind so damn early and they would try to make a comeback, but the other team was far ahead. It's amazing how when you lose your starting quarterback, you're not the same. When Chase Brown was so explosive the last few years, and this year he has been so awful as a running back. Like he's had an awful year when you look at the stats really. I know Chase had 2 like late touchdowns, Higgins had 1, but those interceptions by Jake Browning today were so bad. Like I was watching the highlights of that and you could just tell he was so frustrated, slammed his helmet down. He did have those 3 touchdowns later, but yeah, those picks are really bad. And one of those went to Kirby Joseph, and there was a stat where he had, I think he's been around, I want to say 5 years or less, and he already has 20 interceptions, and he joined a really elite company of players. I'm trying to see how many years he's played, but oh yeah, since 2022. So yeah, under 5 years, he already has 20 interceptions, and he's just been the rock for that secondary who I usually like bash on because they'll give up a big play in the playoffs like they have in the past. But when they can take advantage of a backup quarterback like they did with Cincinnati, that could happen. This was a banner win for the Detroit Lions. Even Montgomery had the trick play pass for a touchdown. That was pretty cool to see. But oh yeah, there was a lot of blue in that crowd. All the Detroit fans who came down to almost said Paul Brown Stadium, but it's Paycor Stadium now. That was a big deal because the Lion fans love to travel. And again, I'm just happy for their success. After game 1, you felt like, oh no, something's wrong. They have all these different new coordinators. I think 8 of them now, right? All these new 8 coaches who they lost. And all of a sudden, they're back. And Jared Goff is okay. Everybody's running just fine. St. Brown is back. Everything's fine. Everything's great. Yeah, that was a good win for Detroit. Hopefully they keep it going. When they play those divisional games again, I'm gonna be really looking forward to it. And they go to Monday night next week. They go to Arrowhead to face Kansas City again. So that is going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of a lot of fun, here
Oh,
we
boy.
go. The moment that I've been waiting for, man. And James, you're staying for this, by the way.
No, I'm good.
49ers going to LA with the walking wound. Now you're staying with the walking wounded. They go
I'll be back,
LA.
though. I'll be back.
They beat the Los Angeles Rams by a final score in one of the most exciting games of the season. The 49ers beat the Rams on a walk. Well, they got the 4th down stop on the Rams after after Eddie Pinheiro kicks a 59-yard field goal, win the game 26-23. All I gotta say to start off with is how about these 49ers, man? How about this team, man? Before I get into the game, all I just gotta say is Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels are probably super thrilled because they finally got a really good game on Thursday Night Football. That was an amazing game. Whether you're a Rams fan or you're a 49ers fan or you're just a football fan in general, that was a really, really fun game. All right. So my biggest takeaways from this game is Mac Jones is an absolute warrior. He's so gutsy. There was a lot of times in that game where I thought he was seriously hurt. There was one time where he was just down grabbing his calf, the back of his calf, and he was screaming. And I was like, oh, crap. Here comes Adrian Martinez. Mac Jones probably just tore his Achilles. I know I texted one of my friends. I was like, dude, I think Mac just tore his Achilles. But luckily for how I don't know what happened, but he was able to get back up. He was able to walk to the sidelines. He was able to get back onto the field in the game. It turns out he was just cramping in the game. So I don't know. It looked like it was an Achilles, but he was taking a lot of hard hits in that game.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking a lot of hard hits. At the end of the game, I don't know if you guys saw, but his jersey was like semi-ripped. After that, I think in the first half also it was ripped at one point, but yeah, he was taking a lot of hard hits. That last drive, I thought that I was like, oh crap, he's not going to be able to survive that, and he just kept taking hit after hit after hit, and just kept delivering the ball. Great pass after great pass after great pass. That touchdown pass that Kyle Shanahan drew up, that Mac Jones orchestrated, the first touchdown pass where you knew the Rams were bringing the pass rush, and he just throws a dart right over the middle into the end zone for a touchdown. I was very impressed by Mac Jones and his play, and credit to him. He was gutsy. He was a warrior-like, and he's definitely proven that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. Maybe even go to the Raiders, James. Who knows? Maybe you can have as like a trade piece. But yeah, I think the other parts of the game is Kyle Shanahan was in his bag all game long, calling plays. He was dialing up just creative play after play after play and just helping the 49ers out. Kendrick Bourne redeemed himself. He dropped a lot of really bad passes, or really passes that he should have caught last week. He redeemed himself. He was
big time.
I think was 10. I think he had 10 catches for
10 receptions, 142 yards.
Yeah, 10 receptions, 142 yards. McCaffrey was great in the running game and the passing game as well. It showed like he finally had some burst back for the first time this year. And then how about that defense, James? Like when the Niners needed it the most, they go ahead and
got it.
They get it. Yeah, like the one where Kyren Williams looks like he's into the end zone. I thought for sure that he scored. That would have given the Rams the lead, but he fumbles the ball at the 5-inch line.
It was punched out by the rookie. What's his name? Yeah. Did you see though? He actually punched the helmet first and then the ball.
Yes.
It was it was amazing how they teach that, but you rarely see it practiced, right? But
right.
The elite schools of football, I think, practice that. And it really saved that touchdown because Williams was going right into there, and that would have been a totally different game. That really turned it around.
Right. No, I agree with you. And then the 4th and 1 call in overtime.
Oh my God.
I don't agree with it, James. I think they kicked that field goal. I think that was really stupid by the Rams. It was just over aggressiveness. And then look, I understand if you're gonna call that. It's like the game with Georgia Bama where you can go for it on 4th down, but don't run that play. Like, what are you doing running? Kyren Williams ran up the middle into 5 defenders who knew that they were going to do that. Like, what are you doing? If you're going to run some play like that, why don't you just run some creative, maybe roll Matthew Stafford out and throw it out? Why don't you run some play like that? Go ahead, James.
I was so disgusted because you always hear about Sean McVay being a genius. And you figured, okay, he's going to have something fun right here. And he always does. And he ends up just having a routine run up the middle in which the Niners are stacked up right there, ready for anything, especially up the middle, too. So I was very disappointed to see that, man. I hate San Francisco. I hate the Niners. It was all red at SoFi Stadium. It's Levi South. And it was the first time in forever that the Rams didn't wear white at home against the 49ers. You notice that. It's like the only time was that NFC Championship game in January of 2022. The rest of the time, they always wear white and they always win. This time, they wear blue and they lose. I just noticed little things like that. But yeah, the defense for San Francisco came a clutch, but damn, it was more about LA laying down and giving that game late. But credit to Pinheiro, the kicker for San Francisco, who had 20 points in fantasy, by the way. That was bad. But he was 4 for 4. He had the 59-yarder, which was no doubt about that one. It was right in there. Just like the kicker today for tonight for the Patriots, where everybody had doubts that he was going to make the 52-yarder, and that could have been good from 70. the way that was kicked in there tonight. But Eddie Pinheiro, man, everybody thought after Jake Moody, who the hell's going to come and be the kicker for the Niners and who will make a clutch kick? And right now, Pinheiro's the guy, I guess. He had 14 of the 26 points for San Francisco. Casey King mentioned, should have gone for the field goal to tie it. What it would have done, too, if the game ended in a tie, they would have took that new overtime rules or the rules and thrown it out the window and said, okay, next week, we're going back to the old rule where, the first touchdown wins. Not field goal, but the first touchdown wins. Because you can't have 2 consecutive weeks of marquee teams, 4 marquee teams, 4 NFC powerhouses, minus the Lions. But you can't have those 2 primetime games end in ties. That would have been a great learning lesson from the NFL not to change stuff around. And a tie is definitely better than a loss. I mean, you can ask Green Bay that in Dallas that when it comes down to December, January. But that game has so much drama for Hollywood. And I don't know if you remember or heard about this. There was a big oil refinery explosion about 10 minutes away or maybe 5 minutes away from SoFi Stadium. But it was 2 hours
Is that where
after
the
the
dead
game.
body happened? Is that where the dead? Because Mac Jones.
No. That was Marina Del. I read about that story today or yesterday. That no, I don't think it had anything related. Things happen in LA all the time.
Right.
But if you ever have GTA 5 or San Andreas,
car chases. Just watch the car chases.
Oh, see, no, that's the only reason I knew. Real quick, I was watching a car chase, but it was all the way in the valley. So that's 40 miles away from where it happened, where SoFi is, right? All of a sudden, they go from the car chase. They're thinking they're going to go back home or to the airport to land the helicopter. They all of a sudden see this big ass, orange fire go up, all this smoke. Even at night, you can see the dark smoke. They're like, "Hey, that's not normal." So they go over there, and a big fire happened. But there's a lot of Ram fans who left the game, went home, and they felt this big explosion because they're right by the airport. And then that thing with Mac Jones, who played just a warrior game. You mentioned how banged up he was. He ate 11 bananas because of his cramps and the way he was getting knocked around. He was just awesome in that game. That I was even proud, and I hate the Niners, but I was even proud to see that somebody could, rise up like that through the face of adversity. That was awesome. But the fact that I don't want to get you in trouble and your channel in trouble or whatever. So he saw something floating in the water that morning, right, from his hotel room. And that could either make you or break you. And to be a starting quarterback, which is one of the hardest jobs in America, like president, whatever, right, in America. But being a starting quarterback on one of the marquee teams in the NFL, your whole reputation is on the line. And Mac Jones went out there and played. I don't want to get too gushy about this, but he played out there with the heart of a champion and determination that wins championships. And that was just something to see. Casey King mentioned kickers these days are hits and misses as they don't seem to be lasting long these days. And did you notice that the balls are traveling further this year? I think 10, 15 yards further. They're doing something with the kicking balls this year. It's really unfair when you think about it. It shouldn't be happening, but there's been longer field goals.
Pat McAfee said this the other day on his show, where apparently they're bringing in the kicker balls, which is the ball that they used to kick when they warm up, which goes a long distance. You know how warm-ups you see kickers hitting 75-yard field goals, 70-yard field goals. So they're broken into it makes it very comfortable for the kickers to drill it. So they're using that to kick field goals now. That's why I think you're going to see
I forgot.
Yeah, he said you're gonna see a lot of like 70-yard field goals this year because of that, the ball being like that now. But yeah, James, I mean, I think to your point about the Niners, like Mac Jones is a warrior, like like you mentioned.
Oh,
And now
I gotta ask you this. What are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? Are you starting Jones the rest of the time?
That's what KC comment is, which is Isaiah 9, or not this one. It was the next one. We could read this. So Isaiah, Niners haven't won anything yet, but they're doing better than I expected. But long way to go. NFC West will come down between Rams and Niners, and whoever don't win the division will get the wild card. Yeah, it seems like it. Like, yeah. I mean, I think Seattle might have a chance, or Seattle might have something to say about it. Arizona. Yeah, Arizona seems like they're just like losing all the games that are thrown their way. They're just making stupid mistake after stupid mistake. But yeah, I think it's gonna be us, Seahawks, and Rams that will be in that conversation. And then this is the question.
Here we
go.
Isaiah,
I noticed some of your fan base are ready to turn on Purdy as quarterback. And go with
just like they did with Jimmy G, by the way. Just like they did with Jimmy G. They love to get rid of their quarterbacks, but bring them back.
I'm rocking with number 13, but you know, I think the problem though, James, is like even if you wanted to move on, you can't move on because Purdy carries like a massive contract, and like you can't cut him because if you cut him, you're gonna be like on 90 million in dead cap.
Well, we're not talking about cutting him. We're just talking about starting Jones this year because he has the team going, and then you could just go to Brock Purdy whenever Jones's like pixie dust runs out.
I think right now, I think you start Jones right now until Purdy gets to 100%. Because I think right now, like against Jacksonville, you saw
they should have never brought back Purdy. No,
Purdy wasn't able to step in. Purdy wasn't able to step into the throws. Purdy wasn't able to run as well as you've seen it in the past. Like what?
Remember, I asked you. I said, "Hey, is it true Purdy's gonna come back for that Jacksonville game?" And you're like, "Yeah, there's a chance." I'm like, "Why? He's not even. He shouldn't be ready yet." And look what happened.
Well, I think part of the reason why he came back though is because he saw Jones ball out and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to lose my job." And guess what? He hurts it again, and now he's out for like. I think Kyle Shanahan, this is a thing, James. I'm never believing Kyle Shanahan when it comes to injuries because he always hides.
I've heard that's a thing now. I've heard that's a thing now, or it's been a thing.
So with like Purdy, Ian Rappaport said that he's going to be week to week. He's going to be out for maybe like the next couple of games. So I think you have to at least get Purdy to 100%. Like you don't need Purdy right now. You need Purdy for like the playoffs, the end of the season and stuff like that. But with our offensive line, dude, our offensive line is so bad right now that, look at Mac Jones taking all those shots. Like, this offensive line is just horrific. Like, you talk about the Raiders' offensive line. I think the Niners might be in that mix for just trash offensive line. But I think
Chargers with all their injuries, too.
Yeah, true. I think if you bring Purdy back, I just think he's going to get hurt again. And that's the thing I worry about now, James, with Purdy is have you noticed recently Purdy's just been getting hurt every single year? Like he's just always hurt, first with the elbow in the NFC Championship. And then a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's a fluke." Okay, fine. But then how about the next year you go to the Super Bowl? That's fine. But then the year after that, shoulder, rib. He had that elbow late in the season. And then now turf toe after one game. I think we might need to start having that conversation. Is Brock Purdy injury prone? Is he an injury prone quarterback? Because it seems like he starts.
Every NFL player can be. He just happens to be the starting quarterback. That's why it's a bigger deal.
And that's the problem with the Niners. But I feel like with Mac Jones, I feel like passing wise, I could see that Mac Jones probably is maybe better than Purdy in the Shanahan system. Gets the passes out quicker.
He's an older player too. That's good.
Yeah. But I also think with Purdy, though, you get that athleticism where he can run around and make plays and extend plays, which you didn't have with Jimmy G. So I would stick with Purdy just because he has that added, where he can make the miraculous play happen when you need to, when things break down. where Mac is, if that happens, he's going down. So I mean, I would stick with Purdy, but get Purdy to 100%. But what is your thoughts?
You roll with Jones until Purdy is fully healthy, and then if Purdy struggles, you go back to Jones. And that fan base, I don't know if they have a bunch of home games coming up soon, but you're gonna hear the boos, you're gonna hear the cheers. It's gonna feel like that Lance and Jimmy G situation all over again. But this time, Shanahan has his quarterback that he won it all those years ago. It's just weird how it all worked out, but it stirs up controversy, and that's what. Who are the Niners? Who's the next opponent, by the way? Just to end this.
They are playing. Let's see. They are playing the 49ers. Oh, they're playing the Buccaneers on in Tampa Bay next week.
Oh, that's
that game
right.
Flex to the 1:30 or the 1:25 p.m. on CBS.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, we'll see if Mac Jones could do it on the road.
And then they got the
so-
Falcons at home, and then CJ Stroud and the Texans on the road before they play the Giants at MetLife. Well, which honestly, now that we talk about it, I don't want Purdy playing against the Giants at MetLife. So Jones can have the next 4 games. Turf, yes, exactly. I don't want that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the NFL segment. James, I do want to run by something with you real quick. And that is, let's talk about some college football. And I want to
wow.
One game.
Woo!
We're not
We
really
had
gonna
some
go through
fun
the whole,
today.
We're not really gonna go through the slate, but actually, let's do 2 big games. I mean, do you want to go through the slate?
I go through the slate, but the biggest topic is what you're talking about. Let's get to the juiciness. Pause.
Okay.
If we're thinking alike, I'm gonna find out right now.
Okay, yeah. So you can go through the slate if you want, but the biggest
No.
topic,
Talk about the first one. Yeah.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to find it right now. This team, Penn State, ranked number 7 in the. I bought it. It was a drunk purchase in Chicago. I was at a Penn State bar. What a Drew Allard jersey. It says, "We are Penn State." Well, this weekend they were not Penn State, as the Nittany Lions went into UCLA and suffered one of the most insane, crazy, shocking, whatever word you want to use, you can fit that in. The Penn State Nittany Lions were down 24-7 or 27-7, I think, at one point in that game at halftime.
Let's see.
They lose to the winless UCLA Bruins by a final score of 42-37. James, I think
27-7 at the half.
What was it?
27-7 at the half.
All right, 27-7 at the half. But they lose 42-37. Congratulations to Jerry Neuheisel, Tim Skipper, and UCLA on that win. Yeah, they were carrying off the field like Bill Belichick was carried off with the Giants. I mean, James, like I think out of all my years watching college football and even football in general, I think that's probably the craziest upset I've ever seen, given all the factors. UCLA's winless. Nobody's at the Rose Bowl. I mean, just look at the storming of the field after that.
There wasn't any.
No, there was like the saddest storming of the field I've ever seen in my life. Penn State coming off that loss to Oregon, you'll be like, okay, they're hungry. James Franklin before the season saying, this is the best roster I've ever had. They've got the quarterback in Drew Aller, and somehow, some way, and UCLA fires all their coordinators. They have a new interim coach. How I just cannot comprehend how UCLA won that game. I still cannot.
So I was watching the majority of it. But at first I wasn't watching because there was so many other games on, of course. But when I saw the score on my phone, I'm like, wait, why is UCLA up 14-0 to start? What is okay? They're gonna get they're gonna get it. Like Penn State's gonna eventually wake up, and they did in the second half. Casey mentions Penn State is totally overrated and been overrated for years. And one thing I forgot looking at is Penn State never does well on the West Coast trips. I remember a bad USC team beat Penn State in '91 at the Coliseum. And remember last year, though, it was the emergence of Tyler Warren at the Coliseum. I think he had 3 touchdowns against the Trojans at the Coliseum last year. We are a long way from that. This wasn't Oregon they lost to. This wasn't Washington even, or USC. They are like my hated rivals, of course, of UCLA. But the fact that Nico got his first win like this on national TV on CBS to win this game, and for James Franklin to have his biggest losses against the biggest teams, but then have a loss against one of the worst teams ever. That's a fireable offense to me, but didn't happen yet. James Franklin, yeah, overrated coach as well. Casey says Penn State sucks in whenever they play in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. Did you see that too, by the way? I almost called you Casey. I'd rather talk to Casey, but he's not here. Well, he's here kind of. But Isaiah, did you notice they had the end zones tarped off where it said UCLA, had the Jumpman logo and all that? That's how much UCLA fans don't come out anymore. First of all, they play at the Rose Bowl. That's in Pasadena, right? Westwood, their campus is like way over here. So the fact that they have to go that far, and USC just goes across the street, from their campus. It's just crazy to me. But no one's showing up to games this year. They had the coaching changes. Everything was embarrassing for UCLA, right? Now they have Nico throwing for 2 touchdowns. I think he rushed for 3 touchdowns as well, I want to say. So it was all about him that day. Also, I heard Neuheisel had trouble communicating because he didn't know what button to push to talk to Nico. He said that in a press conference after. But the fact that they carried Neuheisel off the field like they did 10 years before in a meaningless bowl game, I think it was. I saw a picture of him 10 years ago, and then it happened, this year, of course, on Saturday. I don't know much about college football or the players. I know about them in when they draft, right? But you would have figured, okay, we lost to Oregon at home. We should use that. You got to be pissed off when you lose another ranked game, when you play a ranked opponent, and you're supposed to be great too. You're supposed to be angry about that, right? And they didn't come out angry. They let UCLA do whatever they want. They had a second half comeback, Penn State did, but they couldn't stop UCLA's offense. And that's credit to Nico, no matter how you feel about him. But this is more, again, about James Franklin just being a fraud all these years. I'm stunned that it happened. And again, I hate UCLA. But that scene of Neuheisel being carried off the field, that was like a movie. That was and that's only okay, that was against 7th-ranked Penn State. But it shows you the climb from the bottom to win that game UCLA has gone through. To win a game like that, when everybody's watching on CBS, or most people were not they were watching something else because they figured it'd be a blowout the other way. But for that moment to happen, that's something you get emotional about when you talk about football. In college football, every year, they're going to have moments like that where it hits you. And then, even though, can't say it enough, I hate UCLA. But that was a moment where you're like, damn, college football is so much better than the NFL. So much better. I just wish there was more people there but they all figured, all the alumni or whatever, they figured Penn State was going to run them over. Penn State just doesn't have the heart. They don't have any. They could buy the talent. They had, like Franklin, you mentioned, had the best team talent-wise. That's how the new style of NIL and all that transfers is. You can have all the damn talent in the world, but if all of them don't play with the same mindset, same attitude, you're going to have losses like this. And now you have 2 losses in a row in which you should have won. But I honestly, Isaiah, I thought Franklin was going to get fired. And again, I kept a picture. I bookmarked that picture of Newhouse getting carried off, or video, or whatever. Like, that was emotional. That was weird. I hate UCLA again, but that was a movie scene of like the worst team ever somehow upsetting the new team, the best team, or one of the best
Big
teams.
dog,
That was like, I'll never forget that. I'll have that image in my head forever.
And you know what's crazy, James, is that like I do want to say this. Franklin should be fired. He should have been fired today. It's a joke that he's still the head coach at Penn State. I've always said this. When you are a fraud, you're always going to be a fraud. There's no changing of the ways. And the fact that people picked Texas and Penn State to be your national title game before the season, Texas and Penn State were the number 1 and number 2 before the season, and now both teams are unranked. It just shows that nobody in the media really knows anything about college football. And then the last thing I do want to say about this game is the 4th and 2 call by the end zone where you need a touchdown. Well, two calls actually. The 4th and 2 call where you run a read option draw play with Aller. Like what? Like what are you doing there? Like, why not run it up the middle with the running back? You've been gashing them all day or the last half with the running back Singleton. Or why not do like a rollout and a pass? That didn't make any sense. And of course, Aller gets swallowed up for a loss. And then the second thing I have is, James, everybody on the broadcast, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, I think are the 2 broadcasters, right?
Yeah.
Gary Danielson, when UCLA faced a 3rd down or faced the 4th down with about like 20 seconds left in the game, or 27 seconds left in the game, he was like, I think they're going to run a intentional safety to try to like get more seconds off the clock, because they already had a punt block and everybody in the building was knowing that they're going to do that. So why did James Franklin not do that? And then they take 8 seconds or 9 seconds off the clock and you get down to 17, they get the safety, and then they punt the ball. That was a genius move by Tim Skipper. Absolute genius move there.
The fact that Penn State, the players right there, they had about 3 of them, and they weren't rushing in. Like, that was weird. It was like they didn't know. Like, they weren't told what they were doing. It really was. It was really a miscommunication. Again, it's just one of the reasons why Franklin. Listen, if I got a match right now and I burned this seat that I'm sitting in, it still isn't as hot as James Franklin's seat at Penn State. But let me get quickly, because you told me to watch some of these games on Saturday, and I just wanted to rip you on that. But first, on Friday, BYU took care of business over West Virginia, and their fans were dialed in like the whole game. There was a tweet about that, right, where they were loud even when the game was a blowout. So BYU, it feels like they're at least back ranked, so that's a good thing. San Diego State, locally, they won 6-3 in Northern Illinois last week. They blow out Colorado State 45-24. The last 3 wins, it felt like the old Aztecs were back locally, so that felt really good. USC was on a bye, thankfully. They had the loss last week at Illinois by a field goal, where the defense just couldn't stop anybody, and that felt deflating. That really sucked. Ohio State took care of business over Minnesota. Jeremiah Smith, I think, had a couple of touchdowns. Remember my Heisman pick. Miami and Florida, Everybody was on Florida State, but Miami took that game and took it over there. You wonder about Oklahoma, and the Red River rivalry is next week. But Oklahoma won even without that starting quarterback Mateer. But they were playing Kent State, so I can't wait to see that Red River rivalry next week. Texas A&M, they're one of those teams that really aren't talked about, but they're moving up the ranks here. Like you mentioned, the Penn State game. Again, that was a great moment. Minus that, Arch Manning, dude. I know he had a couple of touchdowns, but he had
Trash.
some picks that were trash. Yeah. For Florida to get that win, it might have saved the coach's job there, just because of where Texas is ranked. It might hurt both teams in that way. Vanderbilt came in just too cocky. The quarterback was practicing victory formations in the warm-ups, but Alabama showed that, hey, we're the class of the SEC West or whatever, so we're gonna run you over. Like, you could beat us last year at your house, but when you come here, Tuscaloosa, we're gonna whoop your you know what. Texas Tech, that's another team that people aren't really talking about. They won their game over Houston. Georgia won over Kentucky. That's normal. Michigan, despite all their sanctions against them, they're good. I was told Boise State and Notre Dame that I should watch that crap. And Boise State just ran over Notre Dame ran over Boise State. Illinois continues to win over Purdue. Illinois isn't talked about as much. Virginia now ranked. I don't remember last time Virginia was ever ranked. And then Navy had the big win over Air Force. That was a big game that was on early. And then a game that I was told by Isaiah to watch because it might be a good one. Clemson right away destroyed North Carolina. The final was 38-10. You had people that left at halftime and never came back in North Carolina. They had Ludacris, the rapper, performing at a tailgate before the game. You had Belichick there, just not saying anything because of the blowout. That is a one and done situation for Belichick. I mean, I loved him when he was on. I think it was called. What was the YouTube show he did with Patricia last year? I watched all of it.
Oh, it was like coaches.
It was one
corner or
word. It was one word. I can't remember. But I wish he would have stayed with that because I learned so much football last year, and it feels like I've lost brain cells of football watching the North Carolina team. But Clemson, I think, just showed back up again. They're the class of that conference, even though the record doesn't show it. But they said, hey, at least we're not North Carolina. You can have all the damn hype you want, whatever you want, and all the Jordan stuff, Jumpman stuff. It doesn't matter at all. That is a show that's not well there. Really quick, I didn't even see the rankings. I forgot all about them. But Miami, I think, went all the way from 3-2. Oregon went down to 1-3 and 2. Ohio State, of course, number 1. Ole Miss stayed at 4. I think they were on a bye, I want to say. No, they played. Texas A&M 5. Oklahoma 6. Indiana jumped the last couple of weeks. They're now number 7. Alabama's back up at 8. Texas Tech 9. Georgia 10. LSU's 11. Tennessee made a good jump up to 12. And then Georgia Tech is all the way at 13 now. That's cool to see. Missouri at 14. They haven't been good in a while. Like, they would always get beaten by Alabama. But Missouri's there at 14. Michigan at 15. Notre Dame rose up to 16. Illinois 17. BYU 18. Virginia 19. So those are all schools that went from 20s to the teens there. That was awesome to see. Vandy at 20. Arizona State staying pat at 21st, really, or they went up from 25 to 21. Iowa State, though, dropped 8 spots. They're flaming out, really. They're 22nd. They have Memphis in it. USF is in it. And then look at Florida State to end things. They dropped 7 spots all the way to 25. They proved that they're not back. And then Miami might be officially back. They just have to finish the rest of the season. But again, it all goes back down to Penn State, who isn't ranked anymore, and thank God. Their
Right.
playoff chances have to be done now, I would think, Isaiah.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're done, and I think so was Texas as well. I mean, they're just
Oh yeah, Texas
really
isn't even ranked. I was looking for
No,
them.
both of the unanimous 1s and 2s to start the season, both of them are not ranked, and it's only early October. So,
That
yeah,
is
this college
wild.
football season this season's just absolutely chaotic. Going to the comment section before we finish up, we had a lot of comments. Appreciate
It was
everybody for
called
tuning
Coach.
in.
That show.
Yeah, it was called. Yeah.
Wow.
With
Okay.
Patricia and Belichick.
I love that. That was great. Lombardi was on there, and like really, really teaching. Like,
yeah.
you think Belichick
Lombardi,
leaves though?
the GM now of North
Yeah.
Carolina.
You think both of them end up with the Giants, both Lombardi and Belichick? You think they both go?
I honestly think I'll give you a hot take. I think Belichick goes to the Giants because I think that like John Mara and him are friends apparently. So, friendship apparently works in football. So I don't think he's gonna last in college. Like I just think he doesn't like recruiting. They're gonna have to recruit. He's not patient with young kids. So yeah, I don't see it. I was wrong about Belichick.
Yeah. You had him in the playoff. You had him like winning record, playoff. Everything's great. It's going to be a renaissance of the program, and he's going to recruit. He's going to bring everybody in. They're going to be good for years, just like he did with the Patriots. And it's been the total opposite. And I'm not happy about it, but I'm just happy about it because you mispredicted this. That's a word.
But yeah, go to the comments. Casey says Jets will not be good until they move back to Queens next to Citi Field. They've been cursed since they left Shea Stadium. Other than Bill Parcells and 2 years of Mark Sanchez leading the Jets, they haven't been anything. And prayers go up to Mark Sanchez. I mean,
my God!
I think that was just another situation.
Okay, that story I hated to hear about. I think it was on Saturday morning, right? Saturday morning, because it happened early Saturday morning in Indy. There had to be some alcohol involved. There had to be like a inpatient parking spot that somebody wanted. Involved an Uber driver just being protective of himself. I love Mark Sanchez as a broadcaster. It was weird not being able to, and he was doing the Colt game too versus the Raiders. He would have, excuse me, and I would have heard the whole game, but because he wasn't there, and Brady Quinn was there, and I don't know if you ever, and well, he's an Irish player, so I don't like him anyway, of course, but Brady Quinn, that dude puts me to sleep. Man, he has this show he does with Fox Sports Radio. I think it's called Two Pros and a Joe, Cup of Joe or something like that. Like LeVar Arrington is great. But yeah, Brady Quinn, this dude, he talks like a jock and he'll talk slow. And it's just like puts me right to bed, dude. And I barely heard him today with Chris Myers. And I don't even like Chris Myers either, or he's kind of quirky or whatever. I used to hate him. I hate Sparoditas still, but Chris Myers, him and Brady Quinn were not a good listen for the Raider game today. But yeah, the Jets,
for sure.
I forgot about the Jets. Like they used to play at Shea Stadium. They had Joe Namath right away, and then they had the sack exchange. They had Ken O'Brien. They moved to Giant Stadium. Yeah, when they played when the Jets moved to New Jersey, it was Giant Stadium. They never changed the name for the Giants. It was Jet game at Giant Stadium. I mean, that's how like they were looked at, where they don't have their own stadium. And it's MetLife Stadium, but everybody hates the turf there. They haven't won anything since what, 2011, I think it was, or 2010, when Sanchez led them to
the last time they made the playoffs was like Rex Ryan.
2011.
Right?
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
2010. So it just shows you, like, and the reason I have them at 0-17, it just,
that's your prediction.
When you
put 0-17 for the Jets,
when you put that quarterback with nobody, with Garrett Wilson, I'm surprised I haven't heard any trade rumors yet for Garrett Wilson. Like, eventually he's gonna blow up.
Well, and then you have that trash ass defense with Aaron Glenn. I mean,
they were supposed to be the like I said, the what do you call it? The bread and butter of the team was the defense, and like it shows up sometimes, like it did against the Bucks, but you gotta play a whole game though.
Nathaniel says that Broncos won. Man, I am excited.
Yeah, that was a great win to do that in Philadelphia. And again, what I said earlier, it proved that they can still be a contender in this season. The hype is still there. It just got subsided for a little bit. But now they have to maintain the focus. They had a big day from Sutton, by the way.
Yes.
That was good. I haven't seen him in a while. But Bo Nix, it feels like he's learning as he goes. It's the second season, but so much is put on him. I know Sean Payton, he was absolutely, I think he was more excited than the players from what I saw today about the win in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he was really pumped up. I saw him.
He really stood out with all that orange on too.
Oh yeah. Casey says Ravens would be stupid to let John Harbaugh go as a head coach. He's a good coach. I think he's better than his brother Jim, and if he got let go, he would be a top candidate for any job. Sadly, though, this seems like a situation where, like, has the voice reached its peak? What I mean by that is, like, because you know how a lot of coaches is like, if they've been there 10, 15 years, it's like, yeah, it might be time for a new voice. This might be that situation, James.
Let me say this though. Who's the main player on the team?
Lamar.
And he trusts Lamar on all those forward down situations. The trust goes two ways. And as long as that happens, you won't see a coaching change. I mean, that owner has been so loyal. I know it's Steve something, that he's been so loyal to Jim or John, excuse me, that they won't let him go unless it's a total mutiny and you have Lamar wanting something different. Now, you notice, though, they keep bringing in new offensive coordinators, and he finally has one where he really has shined, where he won the MVP. But it's still, once you get to the playoffs, they don't go further. But this year, all that might not even happen.
No, yeah, I honestly, like, don't even see it now. Let's see. We have also Casey said that I believe right here. Casey said that Cam Ward is going to be a good one as we move along. He just needs better pieces around him.
Yeah.
Who do they even have? They have Ridley.
Well, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard is their main running back.
Tony Pollard, yeah.
Those are the main the veteran offensive players. But everybody else is pretty young. Like Westbrook, Niken Walker, what's his name? Niken Westbrook left. So that was the one guy I knew because he had two last names. But he went somewhere else. But they just have a young team. Like, it's gonna take, we knew coming in it was gonna take 2 to 3 years, but just the process seems like it's gonna take 5. And but Cam Ward, if you heard his press conference last week, we play like ass. I'm on the team. I want to see Tennessee win. He was really pissed off. He even pissed off the coach too, who says some crazy stuff. I was listening to the coach Callahan, and he has had like so many battles with the media already after games or during the week when they had press conferences. If you ever hear a Brian Callahan press conference after
Yeah.
losses, it is combative. It is crazy.
Well, he's Bill Callahan's son, by the way, and he just gave up play
Oh,
calling too.
really
He
quick.
gave up-
The Raiders are
Yeah.
back at that point where his father mentioned in 03 where we have to be the dumbest team in America when he was the coach of the Oakland. And the Raiders are back to that point. Always remember that.
Oh my gosh. I think a few more comments. Casey says that as like talk about college football, stupid that UCLA plays at the Rose Bowl and they need to build a stadium near Westwood. When USC plays UCLA at the Rose Bowl, it's a neutral site to me at the games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were talking about building a stadium at
Yeah.
Westwood. I don't know if that ever came to anything fruition.
No. It was just dissecting the whole football program in general because of the firings that happened. They were like, well, wait, why do they have to travel in hours with traffic? Why do they have to travel that far for a home game? And then nobody even shows up too. And in the summer, it's hot as hell. And there's not seats in the middle is seats, but the rest are bleachers. And they're going to do renovations to the Rose Bowl too. Like they're going to add those sideline suites or no, behind the end zone they're going to add suites there for like the World Cup and for the Rose Bowl games going forward. But there's really no space like in LA unless they tear down buildings or whatever. There's really no space for UCLA. One thing they could do, I would suggest this, is play at SoFi Stadium on Saturdays. I really would. I would really consider it. I know the Rose Bowl has been amazing. It's a great stadium, of course. Like it's the granddaddy of them all. But it only happens when they play the bowl games there. Not when especially now. Like nobody goes to UCLA games. And being in Inglewood, SoFi would be closer to Westwood. It's only down the 405 from Westwood to Inglewood. It might take an hour because that's how bad the traffic is, but it is a closer drive to from Westwood to Inglewood. It has wood in it, so yeah, it's bound to be closer. So I would consider that. We saw like Miami, they play.
Yeah.
When they tore down the Orange Bowl to have the new Marlins Stadium, they moved into Hard Rock. I forget other places, but there was a time though that both UCLA and USC both played at the Coliseum, their home games. And it was weird, seeing a UCLA home game at the Coliseum, but that's what it used to be until I want to say the 70s, and then I think late 70s they moved out to the Rose Bowl. But I really would. I think it'd be more exposure if they played at SoFi. And then when you look at the map, and this being in the airport industry, it's literally like 5 minutes away from LAX.
It really is,
Like the Intuit Dome, SoFi, it's literally right there. It'd be so convenient for all the other colleges flying in. Like Penn State complaining about travel. And it's funny, how everybody complained about, the West teams going east. Well, now you had two teams complaining about going from east to west and losing on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's the way college football is. But yeah, UCLA should go to SoFi. I think that would really bring people out.
Also, Casey says, how about UNLV having a good
Yeah.
season? And Dan Mullen has done a good job with the Rebels after Florida gave up on him too soon.
Yeah, I think they want Mullen back in Florida. How bad this year has gone. They had totally better record, of course, when they had Mullen in Gainesville. But yeah, the UNLV, I think it's just because of who they played. That's why they're not ranked, Casey. What was the game we talked about? Their first game, I think they played Ohio State and they almost lost to them. I think it was Ohio State. No, Idaho State. It was Idaho State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they they had a dogfight with them and they won. But that goes to show you, like, Mountain West, everybody is so focused on Boise State, and
Right.
they're not focused on UNLV or San Diego State. They have no reason to. But if they keep winning and they take care of their conference, they might be ranked if they could beat Boise State. So whenever those two play, then we'll find our answer.
And then the last two comments from Casey is Carson Beck is looking good as a quarterback for the Canes, and he should be talked about more than Arch Manning. Amen, Casey. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, honestly, though, James, that Arch is like doing the way that he is, because I said this like before the season. I think Arch is a fraud. Like, I thought that he gets the ball out too quick. And here's the thing: have you noticed now that when Arch plays, that teams are putting a spy on him because they know he's a really good runner, and they're making him a pocket passer, and he just cannot do anything. So that's why when they went into the Swamp, I was like, I know they're not going to win that game because it's at the Swamp, and that Florida defense is elite, like you said. Playing against Arch with his struggles, like I'm not surprised that Arch is doing that bad. And but to be honest, though, I am surprised at Carson Beck, because at Georgia he was like, quote unquote, considered the problem there. But now you're thinking, like, is it because Kirby Smart screwed it up? Is it the offense? Is it the weapons? Who knows? But yeah, I think they should be talking about Carson Beck over Arch. Arch is like irrelevant right now.
I think Carson Beck needed a change of scenery, and I know money did that for him, and it kind of hurt him right away with the robberies and the breakup of the hot girlfriend or whatever. But that put focus on football for him, and that's big nowadays with all the attention off the field. Carson Beck, too, I can make this argument. I think he has better talent around him than Arch does at Texas. Look at how much Texas lost in the draft this year. And I think that's really coming back to hurt him. All that preseason ranking of number 1, number 2, you throw that out the window when you find out who your players are and how they actually play when the season starts. And now we're seeing that with Texas and Arch. But yeah, Carson Beck, he just needed a change of scenery, and then he needed to play around with a bunch of dogs. And he has that with Miami right now. I love what's going on for him.
Especially that receiver that made that one-handed like catch against Notre Dame. Like, I don't know if you saw that game, but he is
I'm trying to remember.
But yeah, no, Arch, I think with Arch also is like, people think it's like when you have that famous last name that you're gonna be great. And that's not the case. Like, apparently, James, I found out this the other day that Arch actually, when he played in high school, he was actually playing against like people that basically his high school was just so much more talented than all the other high schools that he was playing in. So that's why he had that like talent advantage.
I did notice he was kind of taller than everybody.
Yes.
When I watched a high school film of his. And then Cooper Manning is his father, right? So Cooper Manning was a receiver, I think. He wasn't a quarterback.
Yeah, that's what people were saying.
In high school and college. So maybe he has Cooper Manning genes, not Eli and Peyton genes to be a quarterback. And then when you think about this too, doesn't he have a advertisement with like LensCrafters or whatever, or some type of
the
glasses company?
Yeah.
I think that's a problem too, and it's not a good look. Pun intended. Where that's not a good look if he's throwing interceptions or incompletions, and then when the game goes to commercial, the Texas game does, you have him advertising glasses. I just thought about that on Saturday. That's not a good look. Oh yeah, you have glasses.
No, it's
I forgot.
Yeah, duh. And then the last comment from Casey is, to wrap it up, Bill Belichick overrated as a head coach. If he didn't have Brady, he wouldn't have won all those Super Bowls. He sucked after Brady left and sucked as head coach of the Browns. He's best as a defensive coordinator. I mean, you're not wrong on that part, that he sucked after Brady left, but I just think with Belichick, it's like he's hired a bunch of yes men. Like, look at who the offensive coordinator was after Brady
this whole
left.
trees.
It was Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, who had no business whatsoever calling plays.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Oh, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Joe Judge was good though with the Giants as a motivator, like speeches. Like I don't know if you saw it with the media, he would always give these passionate, like rah speeches.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
you remember that, right?
Yeah,
and then people were like, "Oh yeah, he's so good at motivating," and amounted
That's
to
right.
nothing.
You can't motivate talent. People just have it, and they didn't have enough talent to get motivated. Okay, so with Belichick, he just happened to be in the right situations when he succeeded,
Yeah.
right? Like Brady happened to be a GOAT. Lawrence Taylor, my favorite defensive player of all time, he just happened to be a GOAT. And then players around him with the Giants played great around him. He just happened to have the talent. When he went to Cleveland, he had a decent team and they made the playoffs a couple of years here and there in the 90s, but you never knew them to be a real contender like they were in the late 80s with Marty Schottenheimer. You didn't think of them as that. And then with the Patriots, maybe he just got lucky. But when he goes to this venture of college football with, hey, you have to go recruit these people. You have to be a personality. He's not
Yeah.
that guy. He's not that guy to do that, I don't think. He's not going to come in your house, eat food with your family and talk and dance or whatever. Nick Saban has had to do that. And look at him now. He's on game day having the time of his life.
Right.
It's great to see that too. I love him.
And Belichick, if you look at he did in college, he hired a bunch of yes men. Look at his GM, Mike Lombardi. Offensive coordinator is Freddie Kitchens, he was in staff. Freddie Kitchens is atrocious, by the way, calling plays.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who the defensive staff for the Tar Heels? Steve Belichick, coordinator.
Oh yeah.
Brian Belichick, defensive backs coach. The defense sucks. The corners can't cover anybody. Like he doesn't have any he doesn't have any college vets. I think that's on that staff.
Wait, I think it's more about a talent issue.
I think it is.
It's a talent issue. Because you saw that right away against TCU. They had the first grade drive, and then I think even they realized they're like, oh crap, we're overmatched. We're not as good as we think we are, or we're hyped up to be. And that's why your prediction was totally wrong. And I just love that happened. But again, I think it comes down to they didn't have the first year. The first year is always the worst time, right? Like it took all these 5-year plans, 3-year plans, whatever it is. It always has a rough first year. That's like in any coaching, right? But the expectations were so high right away. Like they didn't really temper them and be like, okay, he should have just went about it like he did with press conferences with the Patriots, or like, okay, we're not going to be good right away. It's going to take 2 to 3 years. We're going to try to recruit people, and that's it. Come to the games, but don't expect to win. That's how coaches. That's how expectations should be at first. We're just trying to survive. And literally, he's trying to do that right now, and they're burning. And
they are.
It's to a point though where he's old. He's older than the coaches. It's not working out. You wonder if he can get any NIL deal, people to come in, and even if you have them, you might have a situation like Penn State where you had the best team money can buy, but can they gel together? Maybe it won't happen there. Maybe it'll never happen there. Maybe Belichick leaves after 1 year. Well, we really have to monitor that situation. Since the Giants' job might be opening.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's a one-and-done deal, I would think.
I think so, too. I think that he's waiting on that Giants job to open, and when it opens, you're going to hear the name, because I think that he really wants to get back into the NFL. And, the thing with coaches, coaches want to coach. That's just how they are. Doesn't matter how old they are. They're just never going to give that up. But, yeah, it's been a great show, James. Appreciate Ben for coming on. I know we had some technical issues late. Appreciate you for coming on, James. But, yeah, let's get to some final thoughts before we close things up. I guess my final thoughts for tonight before I go to you is great slate of the last portion of NFL action with the PM games and the Sunday Night Football. Hopefully, Monday Night Football can kind of replicate that. But yeah, I mean, we had so many things. I mean, we had baseball on, basketball season was on. My Phillies better not choke away another game tomorrow, or else you will have bottles being thrown at the wall. Screw you, Teoscar Hernandez. I just got to say that. But yeah, I mean, it was a great show. A lot of stuff to get, like a lot of stuff over this week. You got Monday Night Football, you got the baseball playoffs. You've got the Yankees potentially getting swept, and Aaron Boone might be gone after that. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff, and then Rangers hired Skip Schumacher, James. Best hire of the offseason. Good job.
He was in the building.
Yeah, he was in the building. Angels might be hiring Torrey Hunter, Albert Pujols.
We'll
see. Hey, it's not Pujols that I heard is he's the favorite, but Torrey's going to interview too.
It doesn't matter. They're going to suck anyway.
But yeah, great show. And, let's have a great Monday Night Football. And we're going to have Extra Point probably next Sunday, actually, after Sunday Night Football, because your boy got weekends
I like
off
this new time slot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it after SNF, but
because you're talking after the games, you're previewing Monday Night Football.
Yep.
You're getting to the college stuff. I think it's a perfect time because everybody else does it.
Yeah. What are your final thoughts for this show?
Why do we have final thoughts? And why do you always say it's a great show? It's just a show.
It was a great show.
But what makes it great? What made it great today?
It made it great that I got to pump up my chest about the 49ers.
But you're wrong about the North Carolina situation. And
also, Casey, I'm wearing this Redskin shirt because it's an old throwback of mine from when I was little.
McNabb. Oh my God.
Throwback.
Yes, I forgot to mention Jaden McDaniels. I'm thinking NBA already. Jalen Daniels' mom was at the game at SoFi today. And
yeah.
Never mind. But yeah, wow. I won't say it, but wow. She looks amazing every time I see her. Even when she's trying to fend off Juju Watkins. She was in a booth with Juju. They had by the way, I was gonna mention that about Daniels. This was, his first game back, right? And it was in his backyard or in LA, right? He paid for 2 suites for that game today in Inglewood. And he basically said he played for free today. His game check had to pay for the 2 suites at SoFi today, down on the field, I think, or maybe up in the middle area of SoFi. But you don't think about that for an NFL player going home or playing a home game or road game where you grew up from. How many tickets you have to give away, right? How many people are going? How many cousins out of nowhere come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, I want to go to the game. I want to watch you. I want free food. Do you have any money I can borrow?"
And I didn't even know. Like, sorry to cut you off, James, but I didn't even know they had to pay for it. I thought.
Yeah.
Like free and stuff.
Now they're given probably like a max of tickets like every home game. Like I would say 5 to 10, depending who you are. Remember that scene with The Last Dance of Michael Jordan in there with his own room security, right? And Randy Brown comes in. He's like, "Hey, I need 2 tickets in the United Center, anywhere. It doesn't matter. I just need 2 tickets." And then Michael, opens the desk and pulls out 2 tickets and gives them right to Randy. He's like, "Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell him I got him from God." He's like, "Oh, well, don't say that, but yeah, you did." And I was just thinking about it because of The Last Dance. I found out like how really tickets work, and with the last season Michael had with the Bulls, like how many tickets were, being either given away or sold, like all that. But imagine that, but like triple because it's a 60,000 stadium and all that, 70,000 stadium. But yeah, Jalen Daniels played for free today, and he did pretty well, and the Commanders won. Um, hopefully, got to see him a little more before they left on the plane. And then who was it today? The Blue Jays had that pitcher, starting pitcher. He Savage,
Oh
I
yeah,
think was his name. He pitched a
something
great
like
5
that.
innings, no hitter. He had no hits in 5 innings, no runs, of course. His family drove all the way from Pennsylvania to Toronto to watch him pitch game 2. And I bet that, that pitcher had to pay for those tickets, of course. But shows you like the commitment by the families to make the drives or the plane rides, the money that the players have to pay for these tickets. Like it all goes somewhere, of course. But I was gonna mention that, I forgot all about it. But yeah, it was good, talking about all the who do you want the Angels to, oh, I don't even care anymore. Or it don't matter who they hire.
Perry Manassian staying, by the way.
Yeah,
Is he
yeah,
gonna be?
he
There was
he has
something
at
like
least he has
rumors
2
he
more
might
years
not.
left. 2 more years left. Um, but it feels like he's his seat is hot. But again,
Yeah.
he's restricted on moves he can make from the top. It's not his fault. Everybody's blaming him. It's not him. Let me. I wish it was an outsider, but who I want, to me, it don't even matter who the manager is.
Melvin.
No.
Get that
It doesn't
veteran.
even-
There you go.
It doesn't even matter. Like, you can have Bochy and the team won't improve. That's how bad the talent is on the field and in the minor leagues. It's like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter who the manager is, really. The analytical people are gonna dictate what they're gonna do. It doesn't matter, But it'd probably be Pujols. If it is Pujols, I wish that they would have like Yadier Molina, Jose Molina, Torrey Hunter all become a part of the coach. Like, just build an all-star coaching staff. I know you talked about it with Belichick or with what Deion Sanders did at Colorado, getting all these NFL players. And try that and see if it works for like 2 to 3 years, and then probably you're gonna have to. But I want somebody younger that can just connect with young players. Since you're at the bottom, get someone who's been at the bottom with young players and you grow together. Like, maybe that's all I could think of, honestly. Speaking of baseball, I guess we could talk about that real quick. The series that's going on. Saturday had the first games of the divisional round. The Blue Jays won easily. Milwaukee won easy. LA had that comeback against Philly. Teoscar Hernandez really made up for his mistake earlier in the game. Casey,
that was a terrible mistake too. He was lazy. He was lazy on that. Like,
but then he had the big 3-run home run to win. He just gave up on it because he knew he couldn't get it. And then the other center fielder was there. It just doesn't look well in the postseason game, especially. What was the other series? Yankee? Oh yeah, Toronto won. Detroit is now split with Seattle after Seattle. Yep. By the way, Seattle hasn't won a playoff or won their first postseason game since 2001, when they won 118 games or won 118 games that year, but lost in the divisional round, I think, to the Yankees, I want to say. Wow. But they had a traffic issue, and I think it went okay, but in Seattle, this, where the Seahawks and the Mariners play, it's literally right across the street. So they had the Seahawks game at 1:00, and they had the Mariners game at 5. And usually in October, you'll see this happen where you have one game going out, one game going in. And I just wonder how much of a disaster it was in Seattle. Sometimes you have that with MLB and NBA in like June or May or April, where you have like the arenas and ballparks close to one another and you have traffic issues there. But Seattle, for the longest time, didn't have to worry about that because the Mariners weren't making the playoffs like this. And they had some clutch hits today, especially, I think, bottom of the eighth, of course. So every series, well, I'm sorry, the National League Series are 1-0, and then the American League Series, well, Yankees are 2-0. Aaron Boone is on the hot seat. Toronto, they go as Vladdy goes, I guess. But Mariners tap that series. It's going to be fun having that. I wonder who's going to watch. Well, you figure all the Swifties are going to watch like the Chiefs game, but you have so many people watching that Dodger game tomorrow. And Shohei, man, really showed out there in his first start. Lasted all those innings, and they got the runs to give him the first postseason win of his first postseason start. Really needed that. And you just have a fear, though. If the Dodgers win tomorrow, it's over. It's done. Like when they go to LA, it'll be a clean sweep. You just have that feeling.
Now Yamamoto are waiting for you games 3 and 4. Or wait, Snell tomorrow, or is it
Snell's tomorrow, and then Yamamoto back at Dodger Stadium on Wednesday. And then we go around the bend again on Thursday.
The Phillies tomorrow is the biggest game of their season because you're right.
Yeah.
If they lose tomorrow, you're going to play Yamamoto.
The Dodgers have 2 chances to win at home. That's it.
Yeah.
You're trying to get back to Philly.
They're trying to get back to Philly. And I think if you're the Phillies, if you force a game 5, all is in your favor, I feel like, because you're at home, Citizens Bank Park. We know what kind of an environment it is. That's a raucous crowd. So, yeah, I think it's going to be rocking, but that's the game tomorrow and Snell hasn't been good on the road, though. Like, hasn't been that great.
He barely started this year, though.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find some because he's been good in the postseason, though. But yeah, we talked about everything. It's time for bed. There was a lot to talk about. We did. Wonder, hopefully Jaguars can upset the Chiefs. But really quick, for the final thing, I wanted to talk about our fantasy league.
Oh, God.
And I didn't even really know this until like Wednesday. But me and you are playing each other this week, and I just wanted to bring up the score. It got a little hairy today, but I'm leading, I think, by 27 points. Oh no, 27. Yeah, 26-20. I'm leading by, and I got Mahomes. You have Travis Hunter. I have Pacheco. You have Kelsey. So They give me a 94% chance, which I like, but Yahoo has been wrong before. I'm just hoping tonight I don't get screwed. But shout out to Brock Purdy for not playing on Monday. I'm sorry, on Thursday.
I forgot to flip my lineup.
But you have Rodgers too. Like Rodgers had a bye week, and you don't want to lose both of those quarterbacks. Well, you're kind of screwed in that case.
I forgot that I was starting. I forgot I was starting Purdy. So like when I realized it was like I reminded myself, okay, change your lineup. I was off on Thursday, so I was like, change your lineup. I forgot to change it. I didn't remember. I didn't remember until 1 minute into the game.
And I didn't want to give you an advantage either. I didn't want to.
I ended up giving. God.
I didn't want to do that. But I could go to 4-1, which is weird. Opposite of the Raider record too. So that'd be nice to be opposites of the Raiders. I think everybody wants to. But yeah, tonight should be good with Chiefs and Jags. And I want to see Jag fans really come out. I know it's going to be a Chief takeover in the crowd, but hopefully Mahomes will get like really swarmed by Josh P. Allen or whatever his middle initial is. I forget his middle initial, but hopefully they can really swarm him and really frustrate him since Worthy could be out and whatever the case is. But once the Chiefs go on a roll, they go.
Right.
But nice to see the Jags if they wake up again like they did in 22. That's all I got.
No, you're right. This is the litmus test for the Jags to see if they're real or not. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff. You got playoff baseball tomorrow. You got Chiefs and Jags, and I think if I'm not mistaken, James, no, you got some NBA as well. I thought it was going to be the first.
Yeah,
I
has
know
Fritz
NBA
preseason been sprinkled around?
it has, but I thought it was going to be the first like NBA on NBC preseason game.
No,
I know they're
no.
doing I think one. Are they not doing one as a test run before?
I haven't seen anything, but usually they do. I will be here to watch the Clippers in my hometown. They're playing some Chinese team, I think. The Lions. The Liong Lions, too. Liong Lions. So I don't know what country they're from, but they're playing right here. And after work, I'm going to go home, take a nap, and then get my Clipper gear on and lie about things that happen in my organization, like the Clippers have in real life.
Hey,
you heard about that, right? All the Clipper drama off the court.
Shout out Pablo Torre, by the way.
No shout out Pablo Torre. Why is it like TMZ gets Donald Sterling, and then you have Pablo Torre getting this Clipper connection here, man? Why is it gotta be the Clippers all the time? Why can't it be like somebody else?
Well, you had the Lakers selling their team this year. That's what we did in the offseason.
And they had like a charity thing some years ago, but somehow that was swept under the rug. And then everybody, doesn't want to hate the Lakers, so they go at the Clippers and keep asking them questions, and the Clippers keep answering them like idiots. Ugh.
Oh my! Oh, and then speaking of going to games Thursday, I'm not watching Giants and Eagles on.
I'll be at the Clipper game.
You'll be at the Clipper game. I'll be at Sharks season opener for hockey opening night. So that's what I'm doing on Thursday. But Al and Kirk had a great game on Thursday Night Football last week. They're probably gonna have a
yeah. You know what
feel
was
bad
good
for them.
What's good about it for Al Michaels, like he didn't have to travel that far to go to SoFi because he lives in Southern California. Yeah. But now, he won't be there. Oh, he'll be there next Thursday when they play the Vikings play the Chargers. But then it will be a while until they go back to California because they'll have like Midwestern game and Eastern Thursday games. So he won't be back, the travel for him because he's older now too.
He's like 80, right?
Something like that. And he still has great calls. And that must have felt like a throwback for him when he did ABC Monday Night Football, when the Rams and the 49ers, they played in Anaheim or up at Candlestick. That must have felt like those 80s games, early 90s games when they played each other. That Rams and 49ers, that's one of the best rivalries in football. Like both fan bases hate each other.
Yeah, and it was a damn good game for sure. Even if like you were on the losing side, it was a really good game. And then last comment, Casey says, I'll be at the Coliseum next Saturday for USC versus.
Oh, that game's sold out too.
Yeah,
that game is all sold out. I was thinking about going, but like I never did. I never thought about it. But you could get like third parties, SeatGeek or whatever, Game Time. But Casey, man, going to that game, you wonder how good. Because Michigan is number 20, USC is not ranked anymore. It just feels like it's going to be a letdown game, and Michigan's going to run them over. I hope I'm wrong about that, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, it's been a great show. We got to get to bed. It's already 12:30 here. It's the next day here on for me and James. It's Monday officially, but. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Casey, appreciate Nate, Steven for tuning in, and appreciate Ben for hopping on with me and James earlier. Great win for Ben's Patriots, my Niners. Sorry, James, about the Raiders. Maybe you'll get them next
every year we go through this. Did you notice that? Like every year, other from like 2020, 2021, ever since the playoff appearance, every year there's been like horrible, horrible stuff happening every season for the Raiders.
And off the field too.
Oh
Don't
God,
forget
since
about that.
2020.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy Monday Night Football and some playoff baseball. And go Phillies. Please tie up that series. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh,
Wrong one.
just don't even play it. Just go.
Purdy out of the shotgun, drops a couple of steps, going to take a deep shot to Brandon Ayuk. It's deflected and caught.
Cousins, first read taken away. Left side, he throws. Wide open pass.
From being able to make a play on that football. That's where Sutter was so good last year. The red zone. Nix evades the run. Nix the fake. Another fake, and he spins into the end zone.
They're going to get a free play. Rodgers is the master at it, and a touchdown by Lazard. Jones on the fake, pressure coming, and he's sacked by Parsons.
God, the corner. Open man Hudson. The throw caught. Hudson lost the ball. Looked like a touchdown. Instead, it's a turnover.
On the pocket. Cuts away from Chenal, who's trying to get after him for a second time, but the ball is thrown to the end zone, and it's caught!
On it to McCaffrey, right up the middle, and a stiff arm, McCaffrey for 6. Duval!